On tonight's super mega awesome, wonderful, spectacular, awesome show, all of those, yes. You're gonna meet my buddy Tony Perez, who owns Eurocar Doc. You'll also get to see my awesome ducktail, little duck butt there. I didn't see that until after I did the little preview of how it went. It's an incredible episode. You're gonna learn so much. He's a brilliant mastermind, owns several businesses. Just an incredible story, full of the coolest things, the best advice, the best person. He will give you faith in humanity of there's still great people left. Tony Perez, thank you so much for your time. What an incredible 2 hours this was. Very much worth the listen. You'll learn a lot. He's just a wealth of knowledge. So enjoy the show. Got your coffee. Got sirens.
Jesus.
That's how you know the show's going to be good.
Wow. Don't they know we're shooting? It is an ambulance and it is coming to the doctor.
So like I said, it was going to be good.
Yeah.
Okay. So the reason I'm doing this is I want to inspire other people to for anybody who maybe they're stuck in a job, or whether it's a bad relationship, whatever it is. If they're in a funk mindset, I want to inspire people to do better and to do more. Kind of like as we were talking when we walked to get coffee.
Yeah.
So you give me hope that there's still amazing people in the world.
Thank you for saying that.
I met you, well, we started talking like right before Christmas.
Yep.
And then we started working on your shop in February. I was looking through the messages, it's like, when did we meet?
Yeah. It's like 6 months, 8 months before, right?
Yeah. And then like up and down, we were both busy and whatnot. But since I met you, there's just been so many amazing things that have come out, so many just great outcomes. Even as we were talking, just going to the store, you're talking about how you're going to buy another business, but you're helping this other person to like make their life better, to make this a better. It's so strange to meet someone who is a genuine, good, great person, and like I said, my life is better because I've got you in it, and I'm
vice versa.
I'm stoked, and not only are you an entrepreneur, but you have multiple businesses.
Yep.
You have multiple homes. You're so busy and creative and lucrative and profitable, which is all inspiring for what I'm trying to showcase to people. And a lot of this too, I'm looking on a quest for other things that I want to do in my ventures, and like we were talking before, of like different ideas of stuff, because I don't want to just keep doing what I'm doing forever, but I want to look at doing more. And you do so much. So I guess if you can start with what you were doing before you decided to just go in and work for yourself. Like what made you just go, you know what, I can do better on my own? Or maybe it was just, I don't know. So I'll let you take it from there.
No, fantastic question. Thank you so much, Wesley, for letting me jump on the show and touch base with you and kind of just share a little bit of the story. I think when people dive in deep to kind of find like the history, what triggered in somebody's life, what made them make a change, what was that one thing that gave them breakthrough to just, okay, I'm just going to do things differently. I'm going to go off the reservation, I think I kind of, if I could roll back a lot of the things that happened in my life, and yes, we didn't come from riches. Yes, we didn't come from, a full household. It was just me and my mom, and that was really it. My dad had another family, and a spectacular and amazing human being. But during those years as I was growing up, it was really tough.
Mm-hmm.
Living in adversity is really tough. We were mobile home to mobile home, apartment complex, motel. We were in the roughest of the rough situations. I always remember my nightmares were when my mom would come home and say, I lost my job. and she had worked 2 or 3 jobs. I was a latchkey kid all through grade school, and so a lot of those things teach you like the value of what you have in life, and the value to look and see where people really got a lot of great things and aren't doing anything with them, and then you can look at somebody who has every reason to be a drug addict, to be an alcoholic, to be a womanizer, have just all the bad things in life, and you can either use the things that happen to you in life as rocket fuel to not do them again, not put your kids through the things that maybe you and I went through, but even in the sense of see, we're the Eurocard doctor, and got an ambulance bringing a car over here right now. I'm about to set up the tow trucks to have those sirens on them, right?
I mean,
we're
filming over here.
We're like, hey guys, come on, we're bringing a car in.
Do we just call 911 to tell them to be quiet, or
Literally?
Is it, they're winding down though, so maybe they did hear us.
Oh, it's support for the one that just passed by. Now, and I tell you, one of the neatest things in the world where, again, if you're faith-based or not, it doesn't really matter. The idea is where your mindset's at, right? Like I had to learn a lot of hard lessons very early in life. But I had the mom that made up for everything. Like literally, she was my mom and dad. She was the most positive figure in my life. And, I'd be the one crying, and she's like, don't worry about it. Tomorrow I'll figure it out. We'll get something else. And I was like, my God, right when you're thinking like the world's crashing down on you, there was still, she had the glimmer of the hope and the light to shining on us. And is one of those things that my mom was still my guardian angel, and she was always my best friend, always there, like the person I could always confide and trust. But I mean, us as kids, or at the time, we always looked to our parents for the comfort, right?
Right.
What they do, what they don't do, what is acceptable, what isn't acceptable. So all in all that, all the blessings that happen in life, yeah, we're rock and roll. Yeah. Nah, we're good. Nah, you're awesome. Thank you, bud. You got it. Have a great evening. Thank you, Hugo. And I guess one of the most important things is just to understand that, like, everything happens for you, not to you. And if you can see it from that mindset, a lot of changes went through life where I started to understand, okay, these are gifts. I've been given a whole different set of talents. Everything that I want to do, even going through college, I'm sitting there going crazy, working on this, going on that. And then at the same time, I'm in a part-time job, but I want to go murder it there and do really well. So I'm like, okay, you got to learn more to earn more. That's just the way it goes, right?
Right.
And not that you have to go to school to do that. You can do it in a trade school and anything else. But I always wanted to be the smartest guy in the room. I wanted to be the subject matter expert so that I could get and earn literally just somebody looking and having a conversation with you and saying, okay, yeah, he knows what he's talking about. Okay, you earn the right to earn my respect to either do business with or whatever the case may be. So I'd always, and as I was going through college, I still looked like I was 14. So I was always wearing a fake wedding band. I was working at Gateway doing corporate sales. I mean, I worked my way through the channel in so many different ways. But I think the one thing that led it was the confidence that was inspired from, you can do anything in life you want, anything. And just because you got to know at the front door doesn't mean you're going to get one at the back door, the side door, through the secret passage. You have to not be willing to take the first no. You can't conform to the way society says you got to learn it this way. You have to go to school to do this type of job. No, anything you want in life, you can have. Anything.
There's a pathway everywhere.
Yeah.
It's just, even when I had my comic book store, in the back of it, I wanted to open up a restaurant. And I wanted I designed it, and I had this crazy ideas. And then I talked to someone at Huntington Beach, and before I was trying to get my certificate of occupancy and all that, and they said I couldn't even have retail store there.
Oh, Huntington Beach is it's a
and
challenge.
I just said, well, hey, the guy before me had retail, and then they were like, okay, well, I guess you can have it. And so a long time goes by, and then I was like, okay, I'm going to resubmit this, and I ended up doing work for a city employee. And I said, I just want to talk to somebody, and I don't want to know. I just want to, this is how you can do this. It's not a no, there's just this. And it was that same thing where so many people are just going to have the doors locked. But, there's a side door, there's a back door, the basement's open, there's there's always something. And I think that so many people would just stop as soon as they just get that like, meh, and as we were talking before, you can give so much to somebody, but if they don't want it, they're not going to take it.
Yep.
And you can offer just here's the best thing, everything. This could be great for you, but there's what's good for me might not be good for you.
Yeah.
If you and I have this great idea of, you have multiple businesses and all these things, someone can see this and just go, that's way too much. I can't even manage my bank, let alone like several businesses and people, and you're just being here so many people with questions, and you have to fire off answers, and there's all that stuff. It's so overwhelming to people. So there's a lot of people that just want to come in, they clock out, and that's it.
Yeah.
And it's great for them. That's great. Me, even when I'm at home, I'm still working. My brain is nonstop.
You probably don't wind down at 11 o'clock and ready to go to bed. You're still thinking,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
dead to sleep, but you're still thinking and you're wound up.
It's the house is quiet, and then I'm still just like I'm designing stuff, I'm editing, I'm just like there's that other creative process or that other thing that's moving in my brain. With You were saying how your mom was always so positive. Do you think that's where you got your
100%.
positivity?
100%. You get the challenges in life, and if this, or they said no, or why not, and it was like it kept installing in me, and that's one thing I'm trying to force myself to always do, and do it with my kids as well. And you have a beautiful daughter as well. So the idea is like you can have anything in life you want. You just have to want it and be willing to go out and work for it. And I know that sounds almost cliche-ish, but
No.
if you want it bad enough, you can have it. And you just can't wait for the first person to say no, or the second, or the third. But again, they're happy. Like you said, the person is just like, blah, okay, I'm okay with it. It didn't work out. I'm going to go the direction. But I can't feed my family with an excuse.
Exactly.
I can't go deposit an excuse. I can't do anything with
Lights don't stay on.
Yeah, they do not. And you can turn around and have all the reasons in the world, but at the end of the day, action is the only thing that turns around and makes it move. You have to go get the result you need. Now, for a short time, I was raised in third world country in South America, in Ecuador. And my mom, American, was married to a Mexican guy. We lived in Mexico for a year and a half. So you see the things that we have here. And I think it was really, really cool. I mean, other people say, oh my God, you dragged you all over the place. But no, it was a blessing because I learned more lessons that way. I got to see how it was in other countries where they're not going to hire, they're not going to do this, not this old age, whatever the kid. I always figured out a way.
Right.
I think I've been working since I was probably almost 11, since we were in Mexico. We got back, I was 13, and my mom was dual jobs at the same time. I really didn't have any extra money for anything. And I'm like, I got to go get a job. And I literally kept knocking on the door at the racetrack. We used to live in Los Alamitos. We lived in Hawaiian Gardens, which was the very, very rough part of town.
Right.
But it was right on the border of the riverbed. And I crossed over the riverbed and I could go to the nicest school. She planned it so well. And I wanted a job. And every day I rode my bicycle, my skateboard. And then I'd take the bus to school and I'd stop by the racetrack. And I get something to work. I'll shovel horse manure, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. I just need a job. And finally, the guy's like, you know what? How many more times are you going to come and ask for a job? You're too young. He's like, fine. You're showing up at this time and this time. You're late once. You're out. And it was good. For a year and a half, the guy took a chance on me.
Nice.
Totally illegal at the time, but I would not stop. I needed the money. I wanted to go buy the things that I couldn't have.
Right.
We didn't have the. And I would see the people because I was at she planned it just right. I was right on the border. So I was with rich kids in Cyprus. But I lived in Hawaiian Gardens. So
Right.
It was like, it was a tough scenario. We lived with another family and we just made it work. But I found a way to just earn my way to whatever I wanted to go get. The little things that were along the way. And I think minimum wage at the time was like $4.25. And I think he was paying me $3. And
Nice.
I was okay with it. It didn't really matter. The idea
needed
was that
something
you learned
coming in.
how to earn your own money.
Right.
And never stopped working since then. But you learned something really soon. It wasn't my mom pushing me to go out and get a job. I could see what was happening and not waiting for entitlement, not saying, okay, all the kids at school have the brand new sneakers and all the other things that we couldn't buy, we couldn't afford. But I didn't see that as a hiccup. I was like, hey, I'm okay with what I am. And thankfully, again, I think as parents, we got to install in our kids, have identity. You don't have to be like the Joneses. You can be your own human being, and there was a time when something came up. I think she had won bingo one night. She came on, what shoes do you want? I go, I don't want shoes. I've already got the, and we'd go secondhand. We lived at garage sales. Lived at garage sales. My fun day was Saturday and Sunday morning at 6 a.m. We'd go to Palos Verdes, where the rich people lived, to go get the good stuff, right?
Nice.
And it didn't matter. You could just go buy it for pennies on the dollar, but it's all in your mindset. Like, hey, shoes are still the same. We can use it for something else. Yeah. Let's go take a trip. And I remember that trip. We just literally got in the car. Our car couldn't drive very far, so we went and rented a car, and we went up to the Redwoods. And my mom and I had the time of our lives. Or I could have taken a nice pair of shoes so I could fit in with the Joneses. It was a very different, unique situation.
Right.
I was so blessed to one, have her hardwiring in me, but at the same time, look, there's no excuses. Like, if you want it, we go get it. And you can have anything in life you want, but what are you willing to trade for? Your time, your energy, your desire? Are you willing to discipline?
See, those are huge things, because I forget who said it, and I'll have to find out who the quote is, but there was somebody said, to like, if you really want it, would you be willing to sleep on like a garage floor for a year to get what it is you really wanted?
Yeah.
And there's so many people like, oh, a year? It's like,
no way.
Yeah, like what? Like if that's your dream of like having the house or the whatever it is that's your end goal. Because I mean, ultimately, we all have an end goal. Like, what is it? What are we striving for? Which is why I'm doing this. You know, like to help people. Like, what are you like doing? You know, if someone sees this and they want to open a mechanic
auto shop or
whatever they want to do, like it's something to. Like I said, it's not. It's great that you own the businesses, and that's I'm interviewing the people who are entrepreneurs. But there's so much about your story that's like, it's showing that like you got to be a go-getter.
Yeah.
And the great thing is, like, for whatever the cosmos worked out or whatever, I have the coolest people who are entrepreneurs that are in my life that I get to meet and discuss entrepreneurial things with. That if somebody doesn't. I'm sure you've done it too. Where if you talk to somebody who doesn't own their own business, there's so many things that when I talk about like my day and like at night, I'm still doing this and I got to do this, and
they don't know it.
They don't get it. They don't get it.
Turn it off. It doesn't turn off.
Right. And you're like, dude, everything. Like there's so many things. Like I'll go to a cool coffee shop and I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna open up a coffee shop. And if I do this, I'm gonna do this and this. I started making my own coffees and I sourced all this stuff. And there's all these things where my wife is always like just sitting back going like, all right, this is the next thing, and I've got so many piles of other like these are the dreams that are still going.
But it's so adventurous. I mean, imagine the difference. I mean, in your example perfectly, like how many times is somebody married to somebody that there is no ambition, there's no drive. Like I would rather quell that back and try to slow that down and try to push somebody to go have a dream. Try to push somebody to go think outside the box for 10 minutes and go work at a job that you hate going to every day. Like have the dream, and if you fail, great. You don't start at step 1 anymore. You're at the second floor.
Right.
And if you fail at the next one, you're at the third floor. But every step along the way is a step to success. There's no elevator to the top.
Oh, no.
It is a staircase.
And sometimes broken stairs.
Oh, yeah. And they're steep. And some of them give you a black eye. Some of them you get a bloody nose. But through that, you learn. You learn to start now making different choices. And thankfully, I got through a lot of those challenges before I got married, before I had kids. So I can do it from a better position of wisdom and experience, as opposed to still having that crazy drive where I want to go start this business. I want to go start this business. Yes, I still have it. There's 6 businesses I still want to go start.
Right.
But you have to look at the end of the day, okay, the blessing, like you with your daughter and me with my 2 kids, is I finally found my purpose, right? What drives me to do better. And now the risks I take, I still take them, and I take bigger risks than a lot of people will willing to take out there, but they're a lot more calculated. It's not that you don't look at, hey, what's my emergency exit? It's like, okay, how much time is it going to take for me? Obviously the capital, what's this going to take as an investment, and what the risk is, right? And you look at those and you just now plan it out. My mom she was awesome. Every time we'd have a problem, she's like, okay, we're doing a pro and con sheet. Like it was her thing. We do it on napkins at a restaurant. We do pro and cons. Mom, I'm thinking about opening this business. Okay, you got more pros than you got cons. Let's go try it.
Love it.
And if it doesn't work, then you go try something else. Like I'm like, okay.
See, that's the biggest thing, is that people are so afraid of failure. It's terrifying. And I don't know if people are afraid of failure because it's something internal, that they don't want to look at themselves in the mirror and see failure, or if it's something where if I want to start a jelly bean store and then I open it and it fails and all these people are laughing at me because my dream of a jelly bean store failed. What is it that makes people afraid of that? Because I don't care about failure at all. I don't look at anything as a failure. As we discussed before, it could be a very expensive lesson. And if I paid a lot of money and I did this thing and it didn't work out, but I know how it didn't work out. I've calculated everything that was from it, and now it's just like a better lesson.
Yeah, but you didn't make an excuse, right?
Exactly.
Because the problem with a lot of entrepreneurs is they do it, and you hit the nail on the head. Everybody's going to look at me and think, "Oh my God, I'm a failure," whatever the case may be. Like that has to be erased. You cannot care what anybody thinks.
Exactly.
The only people that matter, obviously, are God, if you're faith-based, and 2, your family. And that's it. You leave it alone. That's the only thing you have to answer to.
Exactly.
And outside of that, as long as you can lock in your brain that, look, let them think whatever the hell they want to think.
Get rid of ego.
Mel Robbins has a great book, and it's called The Let Them Theory.
Mm-hmm.
And that I mean, I've believed in a lot of that concept for many, many years, but it wasn't until I saw the book and I really understood at the end of the day, like, wow, this is kind of really what I got. I didn't read the book before, but it would help a lot of the new people that are going into it to understand this. Don't worry about what anybody else is going to think.
Right.
You go do it for yourself. That's it. As long as you can shut the blinders off, like, this is for me and my family, and I'm going to do this for these reasons, not because of the glamour or whatever somebody sees on Instagram and all these millions. It's not like that. That's all fun and games that everybody sees and believes, oh yeah, I'm going to have millions, I'm going to have these nice cars and whatever. If not, really, at the end of the day, that's all Instagram. That's what you say. You don't see the struggle. You don't see the ass beating people take along the way. That's like, oh my God, I lost 2, I lost 3, I lost 4 businesses along the way. Oh, perfect. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you. That they're willing to dive after the fact that if you pay attention and you forget about what everybody else thinks and you see the vision, you see where you want to be, right? You can't say, oh, I want $1 million off my jelly bean factory. You have to see, I want a successful business. Go, like, it has to be milestones that you can achieve.
Right.
You can't turn around and say this thing's going to, because again, I don't know that there is a jelly bean factory out there that makes that kind of money. So have a wonderful evening. You got it? Appreciate you, bud. You have to have attainable goals, right? And let them build from there. Because your jelly bean, it may just be the springboard to another business you met because you were there at the right place. You were surrounded by other business owners that gave you an idea, and then you springboarded to something else. That helped get you capital. That helped get you your federal tax ID number for your corporate company to get started.
Right.
And then you springboarded to the next one. I mean, I'm sorry. I think it's rarity that anybody just went in. You know, Elon Musk had several businesses along the way that failed, and then I think you did PayPal and a couple other ones, and then a couple other ones. But there was a lot along the way that they don't ever mention. They just mention the successes that got them there. Everybody looks, oh my God, I'll never get there. But you got to try.
Well, see, that's the biggest thing. I think if trying is the absolute first step, but I think it's vitally important to do, like you said, with like baby step goals. Because if you, like you said, if you start out and you say, I'm going to do this, and the next step is my house, and then I have fancy cars, and then it's like you got to pull back.
Yeah.
You know, as there's, I usually go, I'm kind of like an all or nothing guy. I'm going to do it all. I don't really care what anybody else says, and I'm just pushing through.
I've seen it, and you've been good at it. It's not that it didn't come without its challenges or its black eyes along the way.
True. And you just have to have that want. And there's so many times where in my life where I'm just going to make it happen. And no matter what it is, it's going to happen. I'm already focused on that goal. And like reverting back to my comic book store, so many people told me, don't do it. It's going to be tough. It's going to be hard. I'm like, well, yeah. I mean, if it's easy, then everybody would have their own store or doing whatever. But yeah, there's going to be risks. There's going to be challenges. And I bought thousands and thousands of dollars in comic books. And there was so much stuff and just money I was just pouring into this thing. But through it, I found successes in so many different things that I did, and pieces that like came together where I was like, I didn't even know that was going to be like one of the biggest successes of this venture, but it was just trying. There were failures in it, and there were stuff that like, oh man, I wish I would have done that different. But the store just kept going, and it was getting bigger and better, and all these greater things.
Yeah.
And it's, I think, taking that whatever the person's goal is. One, like with you, if you're positive, that helps so much. Because if you dwell on one of those little things that's just the bummer, man, that little pebble can sink a ship.
Oh yeah.
And as we discussed earlier, is that there's like that $500 thing where I go like, do I just
walk away from it?
Right.
Yeah, my time worth more than the time you've already talked about it, the sleep you lost on it,
all of it.
It just keeps adding up. And then now, is it worth more of my time? Like,
exactly.
Your mind is finite. You only got a certain amount of time in the day outside of our families for our work, for all the things and ideas, and that space costs money.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's probably one of the best things at the end of the day is you have to judge it. You look at where your goals at. You look at the time and effort you can put in your business now. There's a value to it.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's too high of a value, you're doing a value that something else can either be delegated or subbed out to somebody or hired an assistant per se, then you really have to have that thought process put in mind and say it's okay to hire an assistant at this level, because to get to the goal where I want to be, I need help, and be okay to ask for it.
Right.
You know, and that doesn't necessarily always mean another employee. It may be a mentor, right? I need somebody who's gone down this path to kind of maybe show me the short step to get to it, as opposed to the very slow, linear approach that takes years and years and years of heartache. We don't have to do it the way our parents did. We don't have to do it like the typical business owner that said that bought the building and 35 years, 40 years, they just ate top ramen for the whole time and they lived in the business and now they got something. I mean, that didn't just happen out of nowhere. You can plan it a little bit different. You can be a little bit stronger about the goal. Understand what a good milestone would be and say, okay, you know, we're breaking even in 18 months. Okay, that's a good spot. Now we can take it to the next step. Now let's work to the next one. But it's not easy, you know?
It's, you know, the hardest part is to go forward with it, you know, and it's scary. And I think fear can be good too, you know,
Of course.
because it's like, yeah, I'm not pro bully or whatever, but because of bullies, there's other things that have happened. And sure, you know, because of great things, good things happen. But it's taking just these either like horrible moments and making them a better moment, or taking, you know, anything you can to just build that to, like, it's a huge mountain to climb.
Yeah.
And like taking on so much. Like how many locations are you at now?
So we have 3. We have an EV center that we're subleasing right now at the moment, and we have 2 of these in the process of negotiating another just full retail storefront. You know, a lot of people say, why do you take on these big old just giants, right? Most people would think an auto shop, 2 bays, 3 bays, a small. We started there, but it's the same amount of work.
Right.
I'm going to be away from my family 8-9 hours for the day anyway, at this moment in time while I'm building this business. It's a very conscious and very transparent conversation me and my wife have. And it's like, okay, it's going to take this amount of time equity from our family, you know, and I'm going to need to be there to make it grow, to train our staff, to set the cadence of how I want my business run.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can start to grow and go from there. But if I'm going to be away from my family for 8 hours, it sure as hell better be worth it at this point, right? And it doesn't just say, oh, I went too crazy and was aggressive and just bought the biggest place on the street. Yeah, this is amazing. And I've been incredibly blessed. But I wouldn't have taken this on without mentors. I wouldn't have taken this on without going through a couple of failures myself. And I just convert the failure to equaling lesson, you know, for growth. And that's okay. You got to go through those to be able to take on something like this. I saw it driving down the street because another location, God closed the door on me. I was supposed to get it. I'd done 20 grand into the environmentals, ready to buy it, owner finance. I had negotiated the best deal on the planet for that property.
Right.
And the day I was literally getting on the freeway, all of a sudden, one of my team members calls and says, don't get on the 405, it's locked up. You got to take side streets to come to work. No problem. And as I'm on side streets coming up PCH in Huntington Beach, all of a sudden I get a phone call from the lender saying we can't lend you the property. The prior owner of the building you're about to buy owns $200,000 in back taxes.
Oh.
So the deal's, we can't fund the deal.
Right.
So at the moment in time, I can take 2 trains of thoughts. Oh, damn it. Oh, I can't do this. Oh, gosh. It's not, you know, all this money. I have $20,000 invested in this, and it just went up in smoke. When you buy a commercial building, you have to do environmental studies. You have to do appraisals. Nobody returns that money. If the deal doesn't go through, you're done. It's gone. So in the moment I said, okay, and I just quietly, I prayed on it, and I just said, look, I know you're trying to show me something else. You closed the door in my face the day I'm supposed to go sign the contract after
hit my nose.
60 days of negotiating the best deal, talking to each one of his employees, making sure that the place is going to work, set up my marketing plan. I even had one of my stores staffed for the people as soon as we got the keys, literally the next week, to go staff it. So if you can imagine, all this is built, and I can look at it and say, okay, a door's being closed for a reason.
Right.
And I just accept it. I said, it's no problem. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. There's a greater power up front leading me and guiding me in a better direction. A lot of people would have gone and forced the deal, right?
Right.
And you have to know when to walk away. You have to be comfortable with, okay, it's 20 grand. I'll make it back. There's a better venture out there. Don't be so hung up on the loss, but attach yourself to the lesson. Yes, I learned I should have done a better background check. I can't believe the title company didn't find that in the early when we were testing it, but that's okay. Now I understood. Right. Don't do environmental. Don't do this until you have clear title ready to go. You learn a lesson.
I was going to say, it's that you spent the money, but see, that's another part, like where you're saying where you have, at this point where you have like mentors that can help you out, because through this, there are
there are things that even like when I bought my first home, there's a lot of stuff that I didn't understand. You helped me with a bunch of stuff. My realtor luckily was super cool, and she helped me with a bunch of stuff. But having mentors or people that have like taken that fight before, it's so comforting, and also makes you feel like shit, because knowing that you just lost 20 grand because of like for this, I'm like, oh man, that's horrible. I'm so sorry to hear that. But it's one of those things, like you just said, like I've lost thousands and thousands of dollars, and I'm not going to focus my whole time on that.
Can't.
It sucks, and it's you were running, you fell, you hurt your knee, but you just gotta get up and you're gonna walk with a limp for a little while, but it goes away.
Once you go past the finish line, you'll be like, thank God I drudged through it.
And that's it. But that and part of it, that's those risks that you and I are comfortable taking.
Yep.
And especially like as the older we are now, we have kids. Where it's this. Like I do the same. I still take crazy risk where my wife, I have all the gray hair, she's not getting up. And but it's when I was younger, I would have I strike faster, but now, like you were saying, it's a lot more well calculated.
Yeah.
And I start looking now at like, okay, it's going to be this much, it's going to cost this much a year, it's going to be like adding in like everything that you need to make this happen, and start looking like return on investment, and then like how long are you willing to be out with not making money coming in, to like, is it going to sustain by itself?
Is
like,
the juice worth the squeeze?
Right.
I mean, it's a very simple thought process, and it's not hard to get there.
No.
But you can't sell yourself on the idea, and it was interesting because just coming back down this, literally that morning when I got the door shut down on me, I was like, okay, I'm just going to let it go in somebody else's hands. I'm supposed to learn a lesson here, which there was lots of lessons to be learned there. And I just hook a ride on Harbor to get to the freeway because I got past the crash.
Right.
And as I'm hooking that right down the Harbor, I see this location boarded up. And I literally almost slammed into the car in front of me, like, whoa! Did you just see what I saw? And I literally hit the U-turn, flew into the parking lot, like, ta-da! The morning of.
How cool.
What happened if he wouldn't have called me? I would have got a bad location. What happened if there wouldn't have been traffic? I would have been sent down that road to be taught a lesson, just be okay with it, to have faith, to be okay with, okay, everything happens for a reason, and say, okay, I put a lot of good karma out in the world, that good karma is going to come back.
Right.
Not be afraid. Just, okay, this is a lesson. Something's supposed to happen different for me. There's a different plan for me and my family. And I saw this place, and literally every door opened for this place. Like 1,000 times easier than that one, and it was a quarter of the cost. Right. It's a $5.5 million building. That was $1.5 million, almost $2 million. I mean, again, at the end of the day, everything worked out so much better. This place has the volume for at least, it's a huge location.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a great location on Harbor. 60,000 cars pass by in front of this a day. And these are the clients that we like to sell to. These are the clients that, with all due respect, have the funds and the means to go ahead and repair their cars.
Right.
Not Band-Aid fix it. So, you got to be okay with just, okay, this is where it is. And I'll touch on one thing, is the mentorship. Like, do not be afraid to go take somebody else's advice. Listen to them. Two kids came in about an hour before we saw you today, and they just bought a car. I should have gotten this. I got a good deal on it. Can you check it out? No problem. Here, at all our stores, we offer free 15-minute inspection, right? So he's got a check engine light. I'm like, well, let's go take a quick look at it. And I go and I scan it, and I just, tell me about it. Why didn't you have this thing looked at before? Well, we should have, and I forgot the scanner. And it's like, okay, guys, this is your first car, right? Yes, it's the first time I ever bought a car. So you could see the energy in their face, right?
Right.
So I'm like, you got a good car. Okay, let's stay there. But in the next time, don't ever go buy a car without taking somebody to look at, or have the seller bring the car to a mechanic shop, a trusted shop, so I can inspect it here. And if the deal's good, you pay them 100% of what it's worth.
Right.
And if it's not, then at least take my inspection and say it needs a tire and it needs brakes and discount it off the price, and you win. But your rush to go get that quick, the instant gratification that I can feel you guys are both on this high because you just got your first car.
Right.
So I'm going to jump on this high with you. You got a good car. Does it need work? Yes, it does. We're going to get you through this. You bring it back in a week, go put 100 miles on it, then we look at the codes and I cleared everything, and it's probably fine. It's a salvage title. I mean, again, we all go through that lesson, right?
Right.
But I remember when I bought my first car, and I remember how I felt, and everybody's like, oh, you should have bought it, this and this. And I was like, I just remember, I saw the energy in these kids' face. And I was not going to be the downer. I'm out. You got a good car, all right? Just next time, you promise. You got to make me a promise. You won't go buy a car without bringing it here. And it's not that I needed to have the business. Just in the concept, you have somebody else looking at it to be a second set of eyes, right?
Yeah.
To protect your investment, you know?
Of course.
I don't think this $4,000 was easy. No, I've been working for 2 years to get my first car. And he pulled it here. There was a reason he came here today. He could have gone to AutoZone and 15 other places and say, oh, yeah, I got all these codes and whatever. If not, it was a different story. I wanted to be the difference. I wanted to be the all right, great, you know? And it wasn't that I was lying to him. Yes, it's going to need some work, but he got a good car. Yes. And he could learn the lesson without saying, oh, you bought a junk car, or you're going to invent, $5,000. Like, I get nothing with this guy going home feeling crap about the decision he should have made. But I made him promise in front of his friend that you're going to bring it next time you ever do something like this again. Why? Right. So I can look at it and I can help you out with the cost. So it was and I think more people got to throw that kind of energy out. You got to think twice and understand if you're going to help somebody to go creatively in the right business, because he's going to show up at home and his parents are probably going to kick his butt. His neighbor's going to say you bought it. Like, he's going to get all that. He doesn't need to get it from me.
Right.
I know he's going to show up. I took it to a mechanic. They said it's a good car. It's a good, like, I know exactly how that plays out. I've been in that kid's shoes.
Right.
But that's what we put out in the world, right? You know, I'm blessed to have an ability to open these businesses. I'm blessed to have the amazing 28 families we're able to steward, you know, and it was funny. Last week we were doing payroll, and it's like, holy crap, we're at 140 grand in payroll for the 2 weeks. And then I switched my mindset. I'm like, what a blessing to be able to take care of 28 families.
Right.
Like, God, I've just been steward with an amazing responsibility to take care of these people. I wish more business owners would look at that as like, great, not, oh my God, how can I cut expenses? How can I cut health insurance? How can I cut life insurance? Like, those are the things that you can either make a difference on somebody's life or just make it that much harder. And if I can throw a little bit more of good energy, and I think you even saw the 2 or 3, 4 or 5 people that came by today in the middle of our interview, I get to do this because of them, not the other way around.
Right.
You know, and my job is to mentor them. Each and every one of these people have a goal. And one thing that I just fostered very differently, and have had magazine articles written up based off of the fact that we mentor our people. You know, last year I got 6 of my employees their first houses.
Nice.
3 of them out of debt, and 1 to go start his own business. There's not a whole lot of people that can say that about what they build in their team, right?
Yeah.
I do everything differently. I make them fill out a goal sheet on our day 1 of hiring them, because I need to know what them and their wives want. When I go get somebody that I really got to pull out of a dealer, out of another location, I don't even do the interview directly with him. I'm like, look, I know I can convince you, Mr. West, to come and work here and do this, but you're going to have a harder time going home and telling your wife after 15 years working at BMW that you're going to go work for the largest independent in Southern California. It's not going to be an easy sell. So let's just get it out of the way. You bring her here and let's have the conversation together. Let me let her know where our vision is and where we're going. And you'll see how easy this decision is for you. Half the time, they're not at the front door, the wife's pinching them. You're going to come work for us, you know? And I go after the wife, and I treat them with the respect, because they're just as, like, in the late nights when it's tough, when something's not going right, I need the wife as my ally at home. Like, you're working for a good human being. You're working for a great company.
Right. Because
100%.
Because it's so important. Like, with how you treat your employees, it's unheard of. I mean, I have hundreds and hundreds of friends that work in every field, and there isn't people like that when they're hired, that they want them to do better and to try and see these things. So to have that goal sheet, I don't know if I'm ever going to hire employees again. I'm at a little odds of that, and like a bad taste in my mouth on that. But I've tried that, and I have a problem when I hire people that I'm too much of a friend, and it's a very weird shift. And I try to help people out as much as I can, and I've done kind of what you're talking about. And we had a meeting in my comic book store where I asked everybody, I said, just tell me what it is that you want.
Yep.
I said, just write it down. If you say you want to go to Europe for 2 weeks, if you want a nice car, if you're like, just like, if this is your goal is to make $70,000 a year, like, I tried to get that, like, let me know what it is you want. And nobody did it. No one. And I just like, so it made me think, like, okay, like, you know, there's just some people just, they want to clock in, clock out, go home, no, you know, don't want to think about anything else. But even in that store, I had ideas of releasing other products and doing things that were like my soul branding. And, you know, I think, like, as we were saying before, like, you can't help those who don't want to be helped, you know, but
can't want the gold more than they do.
You, right? And it sucks when you see somebody that is, again, you know, I was going to say, if they're not doing well, but that might be well for them, you know. Years ago, I was working in LA, and we were
Mhm.
building a ginormous ADU, and a buddy of mine was a contractor, and it was like his like brother, it was like cousin brother, like they grew up in Latvia together, and we were building this giant ADU, and the homeowner's younger brother slept in a tent in the backyard, and
Wow.
he was like, I want to say I was probably like 30s ish, and he was about my age, and he just had an extension cord ran in there, and didn't have a job, didn't do anything, just that was it. And his older brother just, like, here's some food, whatever, and he ended up having to get a job. And as we were driving home one day, I went and worked all day with my buddy to go back to my shop to pay the guys who worked there with the money I just made to guys who were just screwing off all day while I was gone working. It was a very horrible thing that was happening. But my buddy, as he's driving back, he talks about like what a loser this guy is, of just sitting in a tent and just playing video games and just screwing off. And I thought, well, who's the loser? Because he's living life to the fullest. I just worked all day to go back to work,
To pay those guys.
to pay these guys to work even later, to go back again at like 5 in the morning. I got to be up to, and I was doing this whole circle of like, I had my apartment rent, I had my shop rent, I had employees there, and we're building it. And there were so many things that I was doing. And meanwhile, this guy's just in slippers all day, watching TV, playing video games. And so it was this weird look at life of, well, who's the winner there? And for opposite sides of the table, he's looking at me thinking like, that is horrible. It's a horrible way to live. And it was, but for me, that was a horrible way to live. So there's such a weird give and take of, if you do have employees and you do want to raise them up and you want them to have the better things, but some people are so afraid of those responsibilities and the risks and the failure. And like, as you were saying before, people just want that immediate gratification, and they just like, they want it now, now, now. And they don't understand, like, you have to plant the seed, and it can grow to a mighty oak tree, but it takes time.
Oh yeah.
And I think there's so many people that lose that, because right now, if I want a table or computers or whatever, you and I can go on Amazon right now, and some might even be delivered tonight. And then for like my business and yours, someone, they want their car fixed, and say, well, I have to order parts, and they're like, well, why? And it's because I don't have every part for every car here for you right now. With me, like, I can't tell somebody like I can just build this ginormous table in 2 hours while you wait and enjoy the waiting room, and this 75-hour project can be done in just a few minutes. And I think between like a greed and impatience, I think is a poison that is polluting too many people. And I think there's too many things right now that are just like at people's fingertips, and people, if somebody has like a video that goes viral or something, and the public sees this one person with this stupid video of like, oh, I was petting a rattlesnake and it bit me on my eyeball, and now like Lens Crafters is gave me $3 million, and Chevy gave me 15 new cars, and I got a new house in it. And people see this lotto ticket, and the younger generation now, as we talked before, like when I try to like hire these younger people to mentor them and tell them these things take time, and you can learn this valuable skill, and you can do this, they're just stuck in this like, I want to be a YouTube star, and this is my thing. And I just look at like, oh, it doesn't work. Like, I mean,
they want the elevator to success.
Exactly.
They want the cheat code to figure out how to get there quick instead of actually
right.
putting in the time.
And I've read so many like self-help books, entrepreneurial books. I've watched podcasts on it, and there's so many books that are written, and so many people are like, that will start with, well, my dad gave me that $3 million, and I was going to do this. And like, well, that's not really how.
Yeah.
Like
98% of the world doesn't have those golden spoons. Just
right. And I mean, dude, like, I would love to have that. It sounds great, but I'm not going to take advice from you, because you haven't eaten shit yet, And the years ago, my brother and I were talking, and I had it in my mind where I just said, you can learn something from everybody.
100%. The gardener, if you listen long enough. Everybody can teach you something.
And my brother's first response was, "What about like a homeless guy?" I go, "He could tell me how to not do what he did."
Yeah.
You know, that's probably a stronger lesson than somebody in a suit and a Mercedes
Selling
driving down the
world.
road.
Yeah.
You know, so I take value in, especially when I meet somebody who has an obscure job, and I always take a business card or like contact info, because there's just those weird things that, as my mind's racing at night.
Like that guy?
I planned that. This is right on cue, man. I got to tip him out better. Now he's supposed to have $1 million.
It'll be there.
So somebody's supposed to come in with a big bag of money right there, but their bus is probably late. You know, it's I think it's such a great thing that you're doing, and I didn't even know that you were doing this for your employees. And just like I said, every time that I have a conversation with you, it's there's so much more where it's like I don't get how you're just restoring my faith in humanity. That's there are people hopefully like you scattered around the world that are just these great shining beams of hope that are there to just raise people up instead of like berating them and putting them down.
Yeah.
And you're an amazing person.
No, I appreciate that. I think, when I add it all up, I added what, the amazing skill set. Again, like I said, this where we've gotten now and the abilities that we have now and all the neat things and the lessons that I've learned along the way. My wife does, basically she does life coaching for women entrepreneurs, which is awesome.
Nice.
Right. And I got on and we did a podcast on buying your first home. And just, there's no charge. Let me help you. Let's go after. Let's answer the questions. And they did a presentation. How easy. And unfortunately, our modern school system right now doesn't teach you finance.
No.
It doesn't teach you real estate. It teaches you to just. There's nothing wrong with blue collar work, but it just teaches you just go work for somebody. There's no other classes or entrepreneur class because it'd be loaded. You
Right.
get people that actually have the experience doing it. I spent 5.5 years trying to finish my degree, and it was not because it was going to guarantee anything. I was a sponge for knowledge, and there was a stint in between junior college and Cal State Long Beach where I went to University of Phoenix. But what was attractive was my teachers was a judge. So my law class was the best thing I'd ever seen.
Nice.
The business class at that moment in time was a computer. The guy owned his own computer company, computer like repair company.
Okay.
But it was an entrepreneur in the trenches, learning and doing it and teaching us. Like, that's the mentor I'm all looking for. Those are the things that really kind of got me hooked on continuing to learn more. And it was a small thing, so incredibly expensive, but it was so neat to go learn from the one who's doing it. That's where you got to go get your advice. A lot of people say, even you and I talking a while ago, it's like, hey, okay, everybody says the rate's too high and this, and I'm all, who are we getting the information from? Go get the mentorship from somebody who's already doing or in a position you want to be in, and go ask that person for a moment of his time, and you shut up and you listen. And you be dead quiet, and you don't go sell him on your idea. You ask him for the knowledge. If he's willing to share, and you be quiet. Don't go looking for an echo chamber. There's a lot of people out here who will just do that and say, oh, Wes, good idea. Go do this, go do that. A true friend, a true mentor will stop you in your tracks and say, yes, you could do that, but just make sure you weigh the pros and cons, like my mom used to always say.
Exactly.
And they'll say, hey, let me share a couple of scenarios that I went through that did that the wrong way. Those 2 kids that came into my lot today at Heavy Scan, I go, I did this too. Don't do this again. Okay, I'm sure your mom, your dad, and everybody else, you weren't going to listen. Now, a third party you just met 10 minutes ago is telling you this is the right way to do it. So don't ever do it again. And I made the guy promise me before he left. And it was just so neat. But at the end of the day, like, you have to go find mentors. Be willing to put yourself out there. Be vulnerable. Be vulnerable to grow. And be okay saying, I don't know anything about real estate. Can you please tell me what the best scenario would be for me buying my first home, my second home? I would like to have rental properties, because I hate to say so, even real estate agents who should be selling homes are telling people, oh, don't buy right now because interest rate's high. I'm like, then go ask that agent how many homes he's got. Right now is a perfect time to buy it.
Right.
But the word on the street is don't buy because the rates are too high. And a simple analogy is we just bought a home right now, and I think we paid 9% on it. Why? Because I'm okay buying when I don't have to compete with 3 or 4 different buyers at a 9% rate. Okay? Let's call it $1 million home. But if I wait till the rate drops, and I have 30 buyers are in there, that goes at a $1.2 million home.
Right.
Just for a 6%. I can buy down the rate. Exactly. I can't buy down $200,000 in equity in a property.
Exactly. Even, as I say, when I bought mine, and you and I were talking, and I had that same thing, and even my realtor said, "Oh, it's not a good time." And I said, "Yes, it is, because I have $3,000 for a shop and $3,000 for an apartment, and I can buy a house and probably have like a $5,000 mortgage payment
before you even look at the tax rebate you'll get."
Right. And so for me, I had to convince
the
people,
agent.
Yeah, like
bank, friends, everybody.
Right. And once I just explained to people that I have multiple leases right now, and I want to combine those to, one mortgage, then it just worked out great, but it's like you said, like ours is 7.75 is our rate. It's astronomical, but I get to refi in November, and then it's all, I'm just saving and saving. I'm doing
Your
great.
equity will quadruple much faster than if you bought it high, waiting 20 years for that equity to build back up. You did it in the right way. But again, sometimes you have to go against the grain, and you and I talked, which was great. I said, hey, no, I buy right now.
Right.
I mean, again, at the end of the day, with all due respect to humanity, there's a lot of people out there that want to see you do well, as long as it's not better than them.
So much.
And I'm so sorry to say it that way, but I see that so much. And I'm looking at people, I'm like, why can't you just wish somebody well? They can't just say, oh, yeah, he'll be back in a week, because they won't find it. Like, wish him well. In the time that you guys were together, you had learned. Like, I see other business owners tell me, Tony, why do you train your people? I've got 2 techs right now racing each other at different stores to be a master technician.
Nice.
Yes, I run a risk of losing them when they're master techs. Yes, I run a risk for the local dealers trying to poach them. But that just turns the pressure on me to be a better boss.
Right.
So my employees don't fire me, not the other way around. So that puts the heat on me. But at the end of the day, I got a part of his DNA, and his family's life changing. And the same thing with the other tech, his family's life changing. And his kid being able to go to a better school, his wife being able to live a better life. They were just amazing. I mean, absolutely amazing people, that have every reason in the world to make an excuse at the life or this country, and it's too tough to do this. They didn't. They sat in my office. They saw the dream with me. I sat with their wives and their kids and said, hey, you can have anything you want. I'll help you pave the way. I'll mentor you every step along the way. And yes, and say, oh, why would you train them and they leave? I'm like, it's even worse if I don't train them and they stay.
Right.
Like, our company will continue to grow, and you will attract better human beings. When I can tell a story that I had a technician with me, and he stayed with me for 5 years, and I kept saving the old equipment as the next store grew, kept saving it. And, in December this year, he went to go open his own store. He came to me and we looked at it. I helped him do the marketing plan, helped him do the website, called all the vendors and said, you give him my price and you get his store started. I did all his demographic search, did everything to a T to get his business started. Right? And this is now, we're 6 months in, and it was 2 months ago, he finally broke even. And now he's making money. And like, he finally had the money to bring his family from Mexico to fly him and to see what he built. And I got a piece of that. I'm not directly, I don't need to be financially, but I'm rewarded with just seeing another family grow because of
the success of
the pushing and not letting this guy give me an excuse in the bay and I can't do that. Nope. I don't want to take excuses here. There's a big sign in my office.
Right.
Excuses, you can't deposit excuses, so don't give them to me. I can't.
Right.
I can't feed my family with an excuse, so they don't work here. Just give me solutions. And it was so interesting. It just one of many examples of where we've taken somebody, changed their lives directly. And in 10 years, 20 years, again, doesn't matter. You can't take any money with you. But those memories and you knowing that you changed people's lives, when I got a new prospective technician or a writer or something like that, my reference list, normally the shop's trying to get the guy that, asking for the reference, I'll flip it. If it's the person that I know that has the values, that's got drive, that doesn't just come here for a paycheck.
Right.
And that's why I make sure the family's here or the wife's here so we can make that decision to understand what their core is, because you can't always motivate people with money.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when we draft that out, and I know I've got something more, I've got somebody that's not here just for the paycheck, leaving from the next shop to the next shop to the next shop, I know that the time and the effort that I pour into this human being and their family is going to make a significant change. And I'm not worried about people leaving their base. I've had technicians come up to me and say, look, if I quit, my wife will kill me. Okay, it's just, she loves you too much. She sees what you do for our family. She sees the mentorship. Every time there's something wrong, you're always there to back us up and give us a hand. We can call you at 11:30 when I'm having a problem. You meant, like, there's no way. I can't leave here. Even if I wanted to, Right. And that's a neat thing when it's not just the dollar you're pulling out of your pocket. I saw that feeling you mentioned. I pay this employee over here and he's a dirtbag and he's not doing the work and he's stealing and this and that. I think it all kind of winds back to the hiring. Find the core and the right person. You may have the best technician, but he's only here for the money. he's not your guy.
Right.
I'd rather take somebody that's less experienced, that has his heart in the right place, his drive in the right place, and wants to own his own shop someday. Why? Because I got something I can grab onto. And I got a carrot that I can dangle that I'll teach you. You work with me for 5 years, I promise you. We're going to put it in your iPhone today that in 5 years, you're going to quit here. I'm firing you, and we're going to open your own shop. Do you know what that does for the human psyche when sometimes their parents aren't there? You know,
Right.
My dad didn't guide me, and then not that there was anything wrong with him. He wasn't that entrepreneur to guide me and push me in that direction. So we serve that for people that are in our charge, the people that we work with. So lots of times I've had people come in here and say, you're a bigger father than my dad ever was for me. And I'm like, oh, that's a bummer. But at the same time, I'm glad I'm in a position to be able to help him as well as their family, as well as those kids. And whether it's putting in retirement programs for them, college funds way before the kids are even 18, like things that they would never even save for. And I'm like, don't worry about it. We'll do it differently. Let's strategize it this way and go that way.
Right. I think like my dad, retired fireman, worked on the ambulances too. My mom's was an emergency room nurse, and my mom would do entrepreneurial things all the time and do little things like making like wreaths around Christmas time and stuff. So she would do stuff like that. But I don't know where it spawned with me, but like I never wanted to just do that traditional type of thing. Even when I was younger, I had to be, I want to say maybe like 6 or 7, and I would go out to the track homes being built, and I would ask the guys that were there if they'd pay me to clean up the area.
Thinking out of the box.
And they would pay me. And maybe I got like $5, you know, or something like that. I mean, it was so long ago, I don't remember, but I remember them paying me. And I would take all the extra nails. I'd put the wood over here, I'd do whatever. And sometimes they'd let me take the wood. I'd build forts in my backyard. Like I was like in this thing.
But you somehow find a way that it's okay to ask and get the no. Do you know how many people would be afraid to just get turned down?
Oh, fully.
That don't even know how to go approach another human being that they've never met before and say, hey, can I offer you a service?
Right.
Whatever it may be. Maybe cleaning the toilets. Maybe it's bringing you guys lunch at lunchtime because you guys are too busy to leave the job site. Anything.
It's that you got to get the foot in the door, because to some people that's terrifying.
Yeah.
It's absolutely something like nightmares are made out of. But I would even tell any of my friends who were in like my field or entrepreneur fields where we have to like gather clients, and I would say just go to it like you're trying to pick up on like the hottest girl at the bar. And you just have to go in and be confident. Sometimes you have to bullshit your way in there, but like get in there, get your foot in the door, and you know you can get it. And if you're shot down, like whatever, it is what it is.
Yeah.
There's you know, for the work that I do, there's trillions of people that need furniture or signs or, you know, whatever it is that I do. So if one says no, you just learn a better way to ask the next time.
Yeah.
And the next time, and then you know, before you know it, like the first time that I got like my biggest contracts, you know, like building stores and bars and restaurants, it was just me, you know. And then at the time I had a great group of friends that were all kind of doing their own things, and you know, where I could just send out a mass text and be like, hey, I've got work for the next couple of weeks. And some friends were musicians, some were surfers, and like whatever. Like, but if they just like, oh, cool, a week of work, awesome. They come in and, you know, we bang it out. It would be great things. But it's you've got to be comfortable with being shot down.
100%. I totally agree.
It's even, you know, like even when I was younger, you know, you're going up like you're going to the racetrack, you know, you get shot down, but it's depending on how you get shot down too, because you ended up getting that job there, you know. And so there's that way of like the fortitude of just going, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this.
And those are the people that change this world. And I mean, fortunately, the people who somehow, some way, you figured out a way that like, I'm not just gonna go take the first no. I'm sure the first job site didn't say, okay, yeah, no problem. But once you got that one little inch of confidence, and then you got the next pile that was on top of that one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and that was what turned into you.
Oh,
because you have to have those little micro wins along the way to say, hey, okay, what can I think next? Your mind doesn't stop. It doesn't go to bed at night. Mine doesn't either. Like, what else can I do?
It was where I grew up, you like, not like I let my daughter do it now, but I would walk like miles and miles and miles when I was a kid, and there was an abandoned swimming pool, public swimming pool, and it was filled with garbage. And my buddy and I jumped the fence and went in there, and we found a bunch of bicycles.
Wow.
So I would go up and I would walk up and I would take one bike home, And then my dad had like rattle cans, spray paint, whatever. So I'd make them look a little bit nicer, and I'd sell them to neighborhood kids, whether it was like $1, $3 a trade for a toy, whatever it was. But I was doing something lucrative.
Yeah.
And when I ran out of bikes, then it was right next to a golf course, and I would go wading through the water, get leeches on my legs and whatever, but I would take all the golf balls out.
Yeah.
And then I would sell them to the golfers. And then when I had money to do that, I bought waters and sodas at like 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
And I have a wagon, and I would sell golf balls, sodas, and waters. And then I did that for a while, and then the golf course kicked me off because
they knew what you were doing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like taking all their profits and whatever. But it was something of that, of just take that thing and go, like just keep moving it. And since I was a kid, I just wanted that. I didn't want to work for somebody else. Even if I did, I kind of wanted it on my terms. And luckily, I've worked for so many smaller businesses that were like just like the mom and pop stores that.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you, Ivan.
I worked for so many people that, like you, that just owned your own deal, and you were hiring people and trying to get the best. And I know the struggle of what it takes, because I've seen so many people do this where it was, I can't make payroll this week. And I was like, I don't even care, dude. Like, do we need to work longer hours? Like I was so into like I said, I'm all or nothing. So if I'm in, like, okay, cool, man, like whatever.
Gonna figure it out.
Yeah. Like if there's no money coming in, like whatever, I'll make it work. And I think if I could have employees like me that were diehard for that, it's such a difference to have those people who are like, I believe in your dream and I want to see it excel also, and it's I've had some tragedies with that of people that I could go negative for a while, but I think it's so just for everything you're doing, man. I'm just absorbing so much of this because of just like I'm gonna come work for you. Like what are we doing, man? Give me a day, whatever. I'm gonna do breaks, whatever. Like I'm in. Let's just make this like it's man. Yeah, I'm blown away by you. So you do have multiple businesses. You're doing all these things. What's like an average day or week for you? I mean, are you at like every location? Are you like multiple managers? Is it like give me like a day in the life and like a week in the life?
No, it's great. I think the prelude to that is I always look at least I had to learn it, and we always think of going out to hire the person, right? I need to go get the guy or girl that's gonna turn around and make the day easier, or a good mentor in your business and in our business. And as soon as I flipped the switch and said, I need to go attract that person. And how do I do that? I need to show successes. I need to show successes here. I need to show successes there. And the right people will find you, and they'll almost come to you. It's not that you can't leave the lure in the water in a well-casted net to go find it, and so the people can get you, the job ads. And I interview twice a day. Most people are like, well, don't interview until you need somebody. No, I need to have a bench. Why? Because if somebody goes sideways here, I have a one-lie policy in all my companies. One lie. I don't care how good of a salesperson you are. I don't care if you got 19 kids. If you lie in our company, it is your instant self-termination notice. And I have to hold that rule. And it sucks sometimes because of great people here, but I look them in the face and it's not on me. I remove that. And that's the tough part, where you and I will always have this because we're the good guys, right? We feel good about helping people. Right. The last thing I had to eliminate that in the line. So on onboarding, I sit there and I go, that's a one-lie policy. And I gotta let you go. One lie. And I will hold to it, but the team will respect you, and they almost police themselves. Why? Because it's like, oh, it's an honesty only, transparency, honesty. And I can sell that. I sell that all day long. When I'm calling a client and said, oh, you guys are, no, ma'am, I'm sorry. I would terminate an employee on the spot for lying on your car, whatever the case may be. So I will stand behind my team and everything we do to the end, and well, I'll take it to court. You always get everybody along. At the end of the day, no judge is going to tell me what to do, Right. The man upstairs is what's going to tell me to do, and it's the right or the wrong thing to do. So if it's the wrong thing, you're just trying to hustle, not your company. Please take your keys, take your diagnostic fee, and I wish you the best of luck somewhere else, but this isn't a good customer. We're not a good fit for you. and you add it in, where does that all go? You know, if you get the right team and you attract them and you can build it in, then you can start walking away and leaving the store where you can leave it and trust it. A big issue that we have that I see across the board that took me a long time to learn is accountability. And I'm still learning every day. But holding the team accountable, set clear, measurable goals that they know what they need to do. Okay, they need to turn around and sell this much. They need to make this many phone calls. They need to make this much on every ticket that we're looking at, this type of presentation. If they do the process that you set up properly, whether it doesn't matter what industry you're in,
Right.
here's the goal. This is the expectation. Can you do this? Great. Let me show you what a good job looks like. It is. So it's a black and white thing, right? You and I, and this has struggled with this because I want the goal for them. I think you can do this. And you said it. Sometimes you find this talent that you think, oh my God, that could be the next big thing in that industry or whatever they're doing. And you can't want the goal more than them. But here's the goal, here's expectation, and here's the minimum level standard to work here. But even at interview, if they don't got a goal that's going to keep them in that bay, if they don't have a goal that's going to keep them up front, giving customers the absolute best experience they've ever had in their lives, they don't fit on my team.
That's
Can't
awesome.
be the ego, can't be the money, can't be the drive. And that's why it's so awesome to have the family there, because I can really see the dynamic. I know exactly what button to push when somebody's having a tough day,
Right.
when somebody's not getting through something. So when I'm in my monthly just roundup meeting and I got my goal sheet and I got my action plan, what we left on last month. So I started to see 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, they're not doing what we're going towards the action plan, whether it be studying, whether it be the budget I put him and his family on. My whole team has budgets that I create for them. I mean, it's digital. They go on it on a monthly basis, and the guys and girls that are going after it and focus on putting the numbers in there tell me they want the mentorship. Tell me they want to own their own house. And those are the ones I make that success story, like the 6 houses we got
That's
last year. But the ones that don't say they want it, they put on the goal sheet, just don't want to give it enough.
Right.
So at that point, I continue to coach. We still meet once a month. What's going on? You still okay renting? Are you
Right.
still okay not having a college fund with your kid turning 9 this year?
Right.
Like, are you okay with that? Because if that pain doesn't sting you enough to come in here and focus on these goals and stop getting on a tool truck and buy tools you don't need, let me buy them for the shop and use them here. Don't
Right.
go into debt. Let's focus on the goals. You're only 10 grand away, 3 grand away, whatever it may be, whatever that number is. But once they start getting those micro goals and they can see the measurement changing, that budget sheet's awesome because they can see how far they go away from the goal, how close they are. And I make the budgets, the needs and the wants, so they can see it real time.
It's so important for people to see that too, because if you didn't have it where they could read it and see it and they know that that's that, they don't ever know how close or far they are away from a goal.
Yeah.
You know, and I make constant lists. One of the things that through like a bunch of the like entrepreneur and like self-help books was making lists of like what it is through your day that you can accomplish and take away.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's something as little as get up in the morning, I make my coffee, I'm going to make lunch today, whatever it is, and then I get to check those off. And with having those, I've got like weekly goals, I have monthly goals, I have year goals, and like as we discussed before, I'm not going to let all these secrets out, but I have like multiple like bigger business pieces on the horizon that I have to make those goals towards to make, you know, those baby steps to make these things happen. But I have them written down, and I get to see different pieces of that where, you know, this Lego has to click into this, but it's going to do this later, you know, whether it's too soon to do this, but it's done. At least it's like when you're in college, you know, you have a final, but if you can do the final by midterms, there's no punishment in that. You're just able to relax a little bit more.
Yeah.
And so I do put, I wouldn't say impossible goals on me. There's sometimes where I do put out a lot more than I feel I can take, but sometimes it's the pressure that makes me do it,
Yep.
you know, a little bit easier, especially like figuring out different ways, because not everything is the easiest way from point A to B. In between A and B, there are so many ups and downs and just scars and bruises that you're just going to go through, but it's taking all those steps and at least knowing what it is you're going to do, which part of the whole reason I'm doing this is because I don't know what I want to do anymore.
Yeah.
I hit this point where I don't know if it's like midlife crisis or if it's just a panic attack or if it's anxiety on being older or if it's like, you know, there's a world of things out there that I don't know why I'm going through what I'm going through right now, but I'm on this quest now for just kind of like, what's my next thing? You know?
Which is a great spot to be in. I love that because, again, getting close to where that goal's got to now change means you're getting closer to what you want, or you got it. And now I just got to reset the bearing.
Right.
You know, people are going to ask you, okay, what's your exit strategy? And I'm okay telling people, I don't know what it is yet.
Right.
I don't know when I want to quit. As long as I'm serving, I'm feeling really good about what I do. I get to come to work. I love coming and doing what I get to do. Yes, it's got its challenges along the way and some other things. But again, as long as I'm serving, I have that dopamine rush that gets sent, you know, down my brain that says, okay, you did good. If I'm selling to a client or teaching another service writer how to do something and closing a really tough customer or just getting to a meeting to the mind with somebody, like at the end of the day, that's good. Right now, you know, I'll share one that's open. I mean, I want to reschedule the day so that I can drop my kids off in the morning and pick them up every day from school. And you know, before it was I want to make enough where I can turn around and send them to the best private school, you know, the best private Christian school here in Orange County.
Right.
It's amazing. They love it. They don't got to go back to school for a week and a half. They already got their backpacks ready. My daughter, she's 3, was already packing her lunch to get ready to go.
Nice.
Like that's how bad how much they like it. But at the end of the day, I got to set the goal for what I want and then work to it. Like whatever you focus on, right? Or subconscious, you know, you've got your active mind and your subconscious mind, right? What am I going to point my energy at? And is my subconscious going to follow or not? You've got to dictate where you're going to leave that real estate in our head for what we want. I want to be able to drop them off in the morning. So that means me showing up after 9. Right. That means me picking them up at 3. So that means me leaving at 2:30. Now, a lot of business owners at this scale are going to say, no way, I can't do that. No way because everybody else can't, or no way because you won't learn how to do your job better, where you can teach your team to run the processes without you, so you don't have to do it. This is a non-negotiable for me this year. They start up in 2 weeks, and I need to create the environment where my team isn't so dependent on me making the answers, and they can make the answers on their own.
Right.
So I can go do that.
It's funny that for you to bring that up, because right now my daughter starts school on Monday, and part of I'm in the exact same boat. I want to pick her up or drop her off. I want to pick her up, and that's why when I was telling you about how I want to do the landscaping business, and right now with woodworking and fabrication and all of the concrete work I do, all of that stuff, I'm constantly needing to look for clients. I'm putting up Facebook posts or whatever, like, you know, that's how we met. Yeah. There's all these things where I'm constantly doing this. And I looked at it and I said, this is how much time I spend hunting for clients. If I start my landscaping and I'm mowing and edging and doing this at people's houses and I have a contract with them, it's $80 to like $130 a house. I start when I want, so I can start, drop my daughter off, go to this first house at 8, and I'm just racing to do it.
Yeah.
I can start by 8, and then I can pick her up when I need to, and I don't have to hunt for money anymore. The money comes to me every month.
Yeah.
And so I was looking at this way to alter it, because right now I sell luxury items. No one needs a table made. No one needs a chandelier built. It's something that if they want it, then they'll contact me. But for someone's lawn that's out of control, they're going to call me. Yep. And I'm going to go there once a week or, you know, every other week.
And you can schedule it, and you already know your time frames.
Yep. And I know how much money is coming in every month. And so I had to take and evaluate, like I said, how much time do I spend just looking for clients? Because there's sometimes where it's like doom scrolling on Instagram or Facebook, and I'm just looking for someone that puts a picture up of a table and just says, oh, does somebody know if somebody can do this? I have a big enough circle of people that will tag me in stuff where, you know, I can see it, and that helps, but it's still constantly looking for that. If I'm in a restaurant and I hear somebody talking about like they're going to redo their kitchen and I have to have a card, and hey, you know, I didn't mean to overhear you, but like blah, blah, blah. Here's a link to my portfolio. Here's what, and there's so much of that where it's exhausting. And when my wife and I, we lived in Ohio as a general contractor there, and I only worked I would drop my daughter off and I would pick her up. And so those were my hours.
That was so cool.
And it was great. You know, granted my monthly nut was way smaller than it is here, but I was home at night. I was home every night in the fabrication shop. Dude, I can work a week straight without eating or sleeping, and there's still more work to be done. And so it's trying to evaluate all those things. So calculating my risk versus reward and my time versus money, there was so much stuff that I was just like, okay, this is all formulating, coming together, and like it's um, weighing out the options. And then again, it's starting a brand new business, and a ton of it is brand new to me. I don't know everything there is about landscaping, but I'm getting my license for it. I've done a bunch of the decks and pergolas and fences. I did all that stuff, but there's a lot of just like the botany that like I don't know, but it's very exciting. I've watched so many videos on just how lawns grow. I'm like, this is so cool. My wife's like, what are you doing? I'm like, do you even know like what type of grass this is? But it's all brand new to me. So I'm getting like this high off of just learning more and like learning about all these different tools and what they do. And like, I'm looking at all these new companies that I've never even heard of that make all these tools. So there's that, I get that excitement of just the learning something new. And there's so much in it that I was just like, I'm fiending after. And I've got like a couple more projects I'm doing, and then it's slowly formulating to get that, kind of going. But
Yeah.
It's in the works.
It's interesting you say that, because again, I see where the creative juices comes from. Even this, from the previous industry that I was in, and now coming into the automotive, I don't know how to work on. I mean, we could go back and do brakes if we had to, but it's not. It has never been my thing. It was the business and the people business is to me what I am really strong at, and just using my skill set, then hire other people that got the skill set for them. Maybe for you, marketing, maybe the landscaping side, and understanding how to scale a business, right? Again, you're only out for a finite amount of time. I need to make every hour count.
Exactly.
It's got to be something that's going to give the best return for my time spent, not wasted. Too many people confuse long hours with efficiency.
Right.
And that is not the truth. You can be efficient in 2 hours. It's like, I think it's Abram's law and maybe Maslow's law, sorry, that if I give you 2 hours to do the landscaping on that house, okay, or you only have 30 minutes and the doors and the gates and everything are locked, you'll find some way to magically do it in 30 minutes.
Right.
But if I give you 3 hours to do it, you'll almost eat up all 3 hours. It's just something in our minds, here, when our techs are doing the work, it's tough to get them to change their mindset. If I can work on that, we won.
Right.
But it's tough because, how many people wait? You said earlier on your midterm test, right? We wait till finals. I did this all through school. I could literally watch, a session. I could go through class. I could literally remember almost everything that was there, take minor notes, and then study the least amount and pass a test at the end. Finish the midterm right on the last day. And but if I knew I only had 2 days to do it and get it done, we would program our minds and have that time.
You get it done.
You could. Our minds are powerful things. The thing is, you got to push it. You're learning something completely new, which is totally exciting. Now you got me interested in looking at some YouTube videos, but anything you want to put your mind to, you can go out and get. You just cannot be afraid to go try. You cannot be afraid to go jump in.
And that's the thing, like even when I was telling my wife about it, and like we said, there's more calculated risks now. Because now I look at it as I have all of my equipment already.
Mm-hmm.
I have everything I need. I've got a trailer. I've got a giant lawnmower that's probably too big for what I'm using right now. But I'm going to try and get commercial properties and not residentials. So it's necessary for like what I've got. But I have all of it. I'm not out really anything for it. And so even like the first job I get is almost profitable coming back at it. There's like marketing expenses, whatever.
But you're not buried in the debt for the machines, everything that's going back and forth.
I was able to, I traded a welder, some of my metalworking tools, and it worked out great. The kid got my stuff. He's beyond stoked. I got all the landscaping stuff, and he was just throwing stuff in on the deal. Here you go. Here's more. Here's more. I was like, dude, all right. And I gave him some cash and some other really cool stuff too. But with that, I told my wife, like, I'm still doing the fabrication and everything I'm doing because that's bread and butter. I'm making money doing that. Like, that's how we sustain life. That's how we afford to do the things that we do. I'm still doing that until one can just outweigh the other, you know? And it's like bi-weekly or, summertime, you got to go like weekly out there because lawns grow like crazy. And wintertime, it's a different deal. I just don't think they know we're talking. It's very rude. But it's something where I'm still doing it. I'm just trying to make that transition to where I can do this. And if I can go and like you're saying, it's the efficiency of the time that you have. And if I know that commercial accounts obviously pay a lot more, Sometimes it's a lot more work, but sometimes it's not. It's bigger properties, but like I said, I've got the right tools where I can do a bigger project a lot easier.
Yeah.
So if I can go in and do this, and I looked at, if I do 66 houses a month, I can get around $10,000 a month. That's kind of like where I'm looking at, like, okay, just let me get at least this. But if I get 7 to 8 commercial properties, that's all I need.
Yep.
And it's less time. So it's that whole calculation thing, like you said, like the 30 minutes or 3 hours, and just change your mind of like where it is, because somebody out there is paying. You just got to figure out how you're going to get that in.
How are you going to go knock on the door? Can I clean your job site again?
Right.
I mean, you got to go back to the roots. If there's one thing I can throw in there just out of experience here, I won't build a shop from scratch again.
Yeah.
Why? Because of the time frame, the blood sweat that you have to put in, of the time of starting from scratch and marketing and connecting with the chamber and sending all the mailers and waiting for your first 10 customers to come in and then having to duplicate that. Now, I mean, the stores are now on thankfully 250 to 300 customers a month, which is a lot.
Right.
It's a lot of clients to come in, but I wouldn't build it again like that. Now, at the end of the day, now going through it twice and understanding how much time it took away from me, I'll never do that again. I'll still acquire and I'll still look for other businesses that are kind of going down the road, but I'd like to find the one that's the shop down the street. Now everybody sees the store, and you wouldn't believe, once a week I get another shop owner. Do you want to buy my shop? Do you want to buy my shop? You guys are
Really?
huge. I see you guys growing. You got multiple stores everywhere. I see them everywhere. You'd be interested in buying my shop. And at the end of the day, I'm always in the deals, right? So yes, I'm interested. Let's take a look at the books. I already got a pre-done NDA, non-disclosure agreement, that I email them and just say, hey, any information, and I look at their books. And I got really good at looking at the numbers to see the good businesses from the ones that aren't, the ones that do have potential and the ones that don't. The marketing companies I work heavily with to understand demographics. In a minute's notice, so I can make the decision. I can pull into the parking lot of another auto shop, and I know exactly what I can turn that into, regardless of what they want and regardless of what numbers are there on the table. You have to know the math backwards to know if it's a good deal or not, because I got to preserve that time. I have it's a narrow window. So now at the point, after we've done this enough times, it's like, we'll never go build a shop from scratch. I'm going to go buy another one. Even in your landscape, there's just tons of people who just couldn't run it right. You said there's a lot of people earlier when we were having coffee that are great at your industry. They're just not good business owners.
Right.
But they've already got 25 clients that are just on the fence of leaving or not. And they're just like, nobody's paying and I'm done. But you still got 25 of those commercial accounts I would love to have that. I don't want to have to go knock on each of these doors. Right. So what do you want to sell them to me? Yeah, just get me out of my, my lease, or I owe 30 grand, make the problem go away, and I don't have to think about this again. You can have all my clients, and I'll go introduce you to everyone. Like, there's deals to be made out there.
Oh yeah.
And it's so exciting to see what's out there. But the feeler's got to be out there. I'm buying landscaping companies. BizQuest is a great one. Put in the filter. And it doesn't matter what industry anybody's looking at or listening to the cast today that wants. Just get on a BizQuest and put, I want auto shops, and I want to, in this demographic within 30 miles of the center of Los Angeles, or whatever state or city you're in. And the filters will start coming to you, and you'll start getting them on auto shops coming up, the gas station or on the corner. 72,000 cars pass by on front of a day. Like, that's a gold mine, even if you were just a plant your sign there.
Right.
But it's putting the net so wide and casted so far that what can preserve that time that you want? Because the time's there, and starting a new business is not easy. It takes a lot of time. You and I have done this several times.
Yes.
You get there, it's like, okay, now, and who pays for it? Our families do. Our kids do. If I can kind of think it through a little bit further and say, okay, what's
those
this?
Other little
skip
steps.
the other ones and have the math done so to a T where you know exactly what you got to take home. You know exactly how many counts that need to be there. And literally just going to negotiate with shops that are selling, or landscaping companies that are selling. You'll see their numbers and you see where they're at. And you'll start to be able to understand the math you need to see.
Right.
Which will paint the picture for you if it's a good business or not. Too many people are afraid to try, but again, if you don't know anything about it, then go work for a company that's doing it. If you don't know anything about, running a business, go get somebody to mentor you. Learn. Do what you're doing. There's all the riches in the world, all the wealth in the world can be all found in a book or a podcast or a YouTube channel. It's already been made. Right. There's nothing new that's out there. You just got to be willing to do what you're doing right now, is go out and learn. And if you do that, then there's nothing going to hold you back. But if you want to make mistakes, that Netflix, I'm tired from work today, and I deserve to relax. And hey, you know what? I got an extra $20,000 in my bank account, so I deserve this car. All that's true. There's nobody going to take that away from you. But that will separate where you are from the guy down the street who's willing to delay that gratification for a little bit longer, to learn a little bit more, to figure out to be the master in his industry.
Right.
I don't want to just buy the car on payments. I want to buy that sucker in cash.
Right.
Oh my God, it's so different.
There's I like the. I think for people who want the instant gratification, there are great things like how you just said, like the Netflix. Like it's so nice to like go home and you just want to sit there on the couch, you just want to watch something and just like, let your mind turn to mush and just do whatever. But I think years ago I started with it was like right around when my daughter was going to be born, and I realized my time frame was closing very quickly because once my daughter was born, I needed to be. I'm a dad now, so I didn't want to be the dad who's there 20 minutes a day or whatever. Like I really need to start figuring these things out. So all those little luxury items of going out to eat and the Netflix and all these things were just like, okay, no more, no more, no more, no more. And you taking those things away, you can also reward yourself with something too, where you can say like, okay, if I meet, like I said with my list, like if I do all of this, then that means like Saturday night, I'm just sitting on the couch with my daughter and my wife, and then we're just going to watch every movie my kid wants.
Binge watch until she's asleep. It doesn't matter.
Right, exactly. And it's just but to give yourself that reward, that way I know when I'm sweating and I'm cutting myself and I'm trying to just do what I can do to make Saturday work.
Yeah.
And
you protect that Saturday. Like,
yes,
Wes, can you come out and do this job for me? You know what? Yeah, I can do it Sunday. I can do it Monday. I can do it any other week. Just leave my Saturday.
Exactly. And for the longest time, we were doing every Sunday was Disneyland. And now, since we're about the house, like every weekend's been something just crazy going on. And we haven't even, I think we've only been a couple of times now, which is a bummer because we pay for the fancy passes. But like, so I need to go do that again too, which is a great place too for. It's you in a park because it's such a fun place. Sometimes we don't even go on rides; we just walk around,
smell the popcorn cooking,
right?
The
just
energy,
really cool
the noise,
things, yeah. And for some reason, like that's like the best Starbucks. Like just when we go there in the morning and I get like my coffee, and it's like kind of brisk. It's not even hot yet. I love it. Now I'm gonna like tell my wife and I'm like, we gotta go. I just talked about it too much. Yeah. Okay. So sorry. So
we were jumping off on how what's the day look like. The day here typically is, and it's changing. Obviously when you're starting a business, it's going to take a lot out of you, and you grow into just cranking hours. And I don't want to do that anymore. I want to be smart about it. I want to understand that the time's finite. I need to get the most value out of every hour I'm spending, and then get really good at delegating, and get really good at holding people accountable, get really good at hiring and firing quick.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things around business ownership that aren't easy. They're not, and they're a skill that you continue to find. You get better at. Again, I always allude to you and I are those nice guy, kind-hearted people. There's other business owners that run businesses much better than I do, and that's okay. I want to learn from them, the good stuff,
right?
But I want to put my own cut on it. I want to do where I could still be a human being and serve that family and serve his kids by doing a better job, motivating one more time, and then give him the option to quit or be fired. Either or. But it's up to him to drive forward on here's what we need to get out of you. Here's the minimum level standard. And I don't want to hire that, but I want to make sure that the person's got someone to drive. And that's why I've got that goal sheet to push them forward. But the day in and day out, it's like I said, drop my kids off, come to work. And literally, I always start from the back of the shop to the front. I start with my technicians. How you doing? A quick 2-minute temperature check. What's going on? How's going on? And you can tell they appreciate that, because if somebody's got something off, or I can see a tech pissed off, I can catch it before the guy's walking into my office and he's ready to quit.
Right.
What's up? I can see somebody ruffled your feathers this morning when you get run off the road by somebody on the I got my hours, or this or that, or a car got taken. All right, let's go sit down. Let's go fix this right now.
Perfect.
Oh, we'll do it at the end. Let's fix this right now, because the rest of the day, I know in my mind that employee, that teammate's just going to they're not going to do a good job.
Right, because they're already upset. It's how you just said that right before this, where you were saying that you want to take whatever someone says in their business, but like take the good things and add your own twist to it.
Yeah.
Which is so important for just the things that you've discussed today that can be implemented in any business that anybody's trying to do, because it's so much of just valuing that person, like you were saying, and like to catch something that is I think you have to be comfortable with confrontation, which I'm not. But like I'm hot or cold. I can kind of just like take it whatever. But if you hit that switch, then and
normally it's like, and
it's just all at once. And I'm super mellow, and I take my licks and I just do whatever. As the problem we were talking about earlier, but if someone does something wrong to me, then I'm kind of like more of like, man. But if somebody did something wrong to you, then I was like, nah, let's go, Tony. I'll do whatever you need to do. You know, it's if I could turn that to me, to where I would be so willing to go to the mattresses for like someone who's like coming after me, as opposed to where I think I let too much, just kind of like, okay, whatever, like on to the next. As weird the issues that I was talking about earlier, where I'm just kind of on that where I'm like, whatever it is, what it is. I learned something from it, and you know it sucks, but whatever, you know.
And if a lesson could be yanked out of it, I can't see it how many times. And me and my wife will go back and forth on maybe the way we're disciplining our kids, or maybe something happened, and even with my team, hey, we went the wrong way, it cost us $2,000. All right, what do we learn? What can we prevent it in the future? It's okay to have that conversation,
Right?
And say, okay, what can you do about it? I don't know if you heard a second ago, one of our techs came in and they went the wrong way in the diagnostic. Look, there's no question, we're not going to charge the client. We're going to eat it. Let's figure out how we can mitigate it, the amount that we're going to lose, and let's be very transparent with the client. Say, hey, we went the wrong way.
Right.
They want to deal with somebody that's honest enough to tell them you made a mistake. Not because you're the specialist and you're supposed to know everything, just that we're human beings and we're capable of making mistakes, but we're honest about them. We're transparent about them. Our integrity and our values say, hey, we went the wrong way. We're not going to charge you for this. We're going to go this way. And me and the technician, I will never let that technician starve. His family was not going to lose, you know, because here we work on a flag rate system. It's a performance-based system. Service writers get paid on commission. Parts managers get paid on what they save the shop. Technicians get paid on hours they flag. So if he can't charge or I can't charge, because I'm still going to pay him as long as the lesson's learned. He comes in and gives me an excuse, and the whole team knows this. You're going to do the job again. There's nothing there for you. But if they come with a solution, how I can prevent it, and active knowledge on how to not to get in that situation, which basically puts the whole company at risk. Then they learn the lesson. Then I'll just pay him for the hours again. Why? Because I will probably never have to step in those shoes again, and he'll feel so bad about where we were that the $3,000 the company lost today for that bad decision, it'll sting so bad, but he knows that he can fail, which prevents him from lying. And then we actually have a foundation to continue building.
It's so huge, because if you can let somebody know, yes, it's okay to make a mistake, but let's not make a habit out of this mistake. Yeah. It's so important, because if you fire every single person in here that did a little thing and a little mistake, then people don't want to tell you that they're making any mistakes, because they're scared to death they're going to lose their job.
They'll hide it. They'll lie about it. Your whole culture will destroy. Like here, nobody ever got fired for making a mistake or denting a car or crashing a car or going the wrong way. They got fired for lying about it. And that's a bummer. But I will bring the whole team in after, I mean, we had to do it a couple weeks ago. And a good technician, one of our best technicians. How many business owners are so scared to go hire somebody else that they will never fire the best tech, or they will never fire the best salespeople? We walked them out that day. And I'm like, look, I'm super sorry. You're going to have to tell Mary that I'm super sorry. It's not my fault. You knew the rule. You knew what self-termination looked like here, and you chose that path. Because it was easier to lie about it than be truthful about it. We found out it's a different direction. I wish you the best of luck. And we just move on. Then I grab the team together, and they're all pissed, and they're all bummed, and they're all sad about it. I'm like, don't be sad. We have to keep our standards here. Because as soon as I lower them here, you all need to fire me as a boss and move on to another place, because your job's in jeopardy. The integrity of what we do is in jeopardy. We got people's lives that were bestowed trust on a everyday basis based off of our reputation, our reviews, this beautiful facility. The second we fall short of that responsibility, I need to close the doors and go do something else, because we're dealing with people's lives. I do not want to be on the opposite end, because I allowed a high flagging technician to lie about something, get away with it, and put somebody's life at danger. I'm sorry, I'm not living with it. I got to go to bed, sleeping good at night, knowing that we did the right thing. So the hardest thing at the end of the day, you know, to combat anybody that's listening to the cast today is, you know, my mentor, Aaron Stokes, is just a brilliant human being, and he's not a guy who went to a college. I mean, I don't think he finished high school, but a brilliant human being that got a lot of knowledge, like you and I are always sponges to find what I can learn. And he's like, Tony, easy conversations lead to a very tough life. Mm-hmm. Hard conversations will give you the easy life. So be very clear about it. Address the problem on the spot. Don't wait till the end of the day. Don't wait till you get that person in. You talk to them and tell them, this is unacceptable here. Let's not let this happen again if it's something that you can fix or coach through. But those are strong words. I literally printed it out. I got it on my laptop. And every day, because I share that with you, I share that good-heartedness, and I want to be everybody's best friend, but you can't.
Right.
You can't. And as soon as I'm in the back, you know, I don't smoke, but if I was out there having a smoke break with my technicians, then I'm on the level where it's not of a mentorship and a leadership role. Now we're more of an equal. So now they're like, you know, Wesley's good. He's okay with me being late. They'll push the envelope. You can't be that. And it's not that I don't want to treat these people good. I will go cook for these guys.
Right.
Once every 2 weeks. And I'm out there cooking. People are like, why don't you hire someone? No, because I want the opportunity to serve my team as they serve me and my family.
That's awesome.
So that's the way to do it. Doesn't mean I'm going to go have beers with my guys. I can't. I can't allow that level to equalize.
I had a friend of mine years ago told me, said, never have beers with your employees. And I didn't listen. And I saw exactly what you said, that weird shift of where it brought it down to where it's like there wasn't the respect wasn't there. And then it did turn into they can be late. They can, sleep in and then just, I'm just going to work extra hard today. I said, what? And then I ended up eating it because of that. And which again, years ago, it was lessons I learned to build to where I'm at now, to where I'm 100 times a different boss than I was 15 years ago. And I've had business partners that from now, I just don't do business partners anymore.
Yeah.
And I've looked at people who were in hopes of being an investor or whatever. And I'm like, okay, I've ignored that part out of my life as well. Like, it's going through so much hell to just be able to okay, that was horrible. that was really bad. But I'm going to go through, and and like I said, look, with this new venture I'm looking at, and I'm putting everything in. I'm getting all my ideas in order and getting everything set before I can go out and do what I need to do. But it's very much just taking in the weighing out the pros and cons, and like you said, it's don't smoke with your employees, don't drink with your employees. Let that little barrier
And from day one, when that relationship set the non-negotiable standards you will and will not accept in your place of business, because that's protecting your family. It's protecting the families of in our case here, 28 families that we steward in this location in Irvine. I don't want to mess with that. And I won't let an employee come in and do that. So every time you fire somebody, the team gain more respect for you for holding the line. And you can't do that when you were out having drinks with them the next day and shows up and this and that. And, I'm buddies with Wes. I'm buddies with Tony and I can get away with this. And it's tough because us as business owners, we think we're taught somehow that building the relationships with clinches. No, building respect from your team is what will get you to having more successes. Not that relationship everybody is. At Christmas time, my wife and I, every year it's a new record. How much we spend on our team. It's a bigger Christmas party. This year we had a live band. I go and I preach 3 times along the thing about motivation and about goals and about our whys. That was the theme of this Christmas party. And it was, my wife she's my secret ninja weapon, and she's amazing. And I couldn't do any of this without her, because without a good, hands down, if you don't have a good partner, I'm sorry, this is 1,000 times harder. You've got you've got dead weights pulling you back that doesn't allow you, because every time you got an idea, no, that's stupid. Oh, no, you got to go work. They don't have the vision, or at least aren't smart enough to support a human being that does. And we do everything. We find out what the wife likes. We find out every one of the kids' age group and what it is that they like. And every gift is customized.
Oh, that's so cool.
Can you imagine your wife coming to your company Christmas party and it designed for her?
Right.
Whether it be a customized bag or this or that, but to her. And the kids, each one of the kids is what they like. Per their age group, not just a gift or gift card or something it's not that those things aren't great,
right?
But when you put the extra time, the feeling of the gift, whether it be a real expensive one or not, and we have, I think our Christmas party was $15,000 this year. It was awesome. Nice. And people have much larger than that, but to us, it was the record from last month, and last year, and it'll be bigger this year.
Right.
But it's so catered to them. The message on the why was so catered to the family, and the wives were watching. I'm like, oh my God, I want to work with you guys so bad. When does he get to come to work? It was so inspiring, and it was so great to have my kids listening to your speech and where it was, and that's the inspiration now. That's the message I want to send, and at the end of the day, when you're building your core team for this business to grow, and they'll push you to limits you don't even know you can achieve yet. You're having a down day, they're in there kicking your butt. You all right? Can I go? What's up? Let's go knock like you said, go get the billy goat and get the guy who hit the mattress, right? Whatever it's going to take. And that's when you really know you have a culture that supports itself. You don't have to be there every day. If you want to go home and be with Moxie at the end of the day by 2:00 and you got to go. You gave us this opportunity. I got to make sure I protect yours.
Right.
Not you got to be here till the end of the day because you own the business. That's just what no, it's a whole different mindset. I'm out of here and they're like, 2:30, you got to go. Get out of here. We'll take it and they're fielding the issues. Right, I got managers who say, if anybody here calls Tony, well, he's on vacation with his family, you're fired.
Love it.
Like there's nothing we can't resolve here. And at the end of the day, and you have to teach your people make the decision, right or wrong. I'm in it with you anyway. Just make the decision, and you'll see how your company will grow that much bigger.
Right.
Be okay for your people to fail and teach them afterwards. Let's look at it. Let's do this. Don't reprimand. Teach. And you'll grow together, and you'll actually have an ecosystem of a business that will almost run without you being there. I have a store now almost on autopilot because of the people are put in places to make their decisions for themselves. Now, it's still coaching. You have to be there when they need those coaching and the answer, but don't give them the answer. Wes, this is what you got to do today. No, it's what do you think you should do?
Exactly.
You're calling me for the answer, but I know you're smart enough to already have two solutions. So which one do you want to do? And you just kind of coach it along, and if it's something that's detrimental, which at the end of the day, no, but sometimes you've got to let them fail to win.
So they can, so they can see that.
So they can see you got your support, that you know that going the wrong decision. And one of my salespeople out here says, no, I'm doing this way this one time and I'm going to fire. I'm like, thank God you came up with that and I didn't have to go that route.
Right.
Is it the right decision? Probably not. But I need her to have the confidence to make the decision on the spot and get us out of the jam without wasting my time and mind equity that's very limited.
Right. And then as long as you build that person up, then, like you said, if they have like a little bit of like, okay, maybe it wasn't the greatest thing, but now they know that if they come to you with maybe an extreme, then there's validation behind it.
Yep.
As opposed to where, like we were talking about, like before, if there's a mistake or something, they don't want to tell you, they want to hide it. It's so much better for somebody to be able to come to you and just go, here's these solutions to this thing that happened. And, like you said, they know which one they want to go with. You got to like, what's the golden egg? Which is A, B, and C that you want to do? Tell me, and then, hopefully then sometimes you go, oh my God, no, don't do that.
But that's the problem. Like, and that's the thing that I have to physically train my own self to do. Like, stop giving them the answer. It's the biggest pitfall small businesses have today. When an employee comes to ask you, what should I do? I didn't hire a robot.
Right.
I hired an amazing human being, whether it be a sales, whether it be admin, whatever. What do you think we should do? Right? That's the only way I'm able to expand multiple stores. There's people that can't get out of a two-bay shop because nobody can do it. I can't hire the right people. It's your mindset. You're like, you think you have to make all the decisions in your own business. Right or wrong, we're still working on cars. We're still fixing trees. We're still doing landscape. We're still building cabinets. We're still doing anything. You have to trust in the people to make the decision. Otherwise, you will be making all the decisions and your scalability is locked into just you. Why? Because you built the damn business around yourself.
Right.
Don't be in that. I learned that from my prior company. We tried to sell it for year after year after year. The thing was gross. It was grossing $7-8 million a year in sales. And I couldn't sell it because I had to go with it. Nobody would buy the company unless I went with it. And I'm like, wow, I'm not going to do that mistake again. What are the two things I didn't like? Inventory that was perishable and me having to be the focal point. The day that this ever comes and some private equity firm comes in and says, we want to buy all your stores, I can't be anything on the map that shows that they run that way. My processes, my fingerprints, and my DNA do. But I can't be anywhere along in those maps where they got to replace the salary. And if anybody wants to learn about EBITDA, there's 15 different ways, the 3X, 4X, 5X, 10X multipliers on how much your business is worth, on the net volume that you make every year. It's all based on whether you're there or not. If I'm 100% involved, your business is worth 1X, maybe 2.
Right.
And if it's in a growing industry, you've got something special. You want the business to be worth something? Build your business to run without you. And you crack the code. Build it to run without you, with your team, with the processes, well-documented SOPs, good video series. I mean, every one of these texts, there's not a single process I haven't made a video or a training seminar, and they can click on a link, and every desktop has it. You can access the video library to figure out how do I check in a loaner car? How do I do a check-in? How do I do a QC walk-around? How do I check in a client? How do I answer the phone? How do I script? Everything is planned out. So that the day I can't be there to answer that question, there's a resource for that customer, that employee to go find. And I need to build a business to run without me. And that's the only way it works. At least for where I want to go. And again, I want my time. I want to be able to be here at 9 and leave at 2:30 and not have to think twice because I got an employee asking me, hey, Wes, how do I get this done today? I'm like, you already know what you need to do.
Right.
You've been through this before. This feeling you already should know what this feels like. So go deal with it. I trust you'll get this handled. And be okay with whatever the outcome is and have the chat later.
Right.
Oh, it's so much fun. And again, this is years of trying to figure it out, watching stores that do it, listening to mentors that have multiple shops. My coaching group of different shop owners. I mean, there's 25, maybe 30 people there, and 18 or 19 are all millionaires. Like, they kill it. They absolutely run it. And that's the environment I needed to be in as a student to learn.
Right.
Remember, every conversation you're ever going to have in life, you're either going to be the teacher or the student. you said it earlier with the gardener and the landscaper. It's like you have to understand in every moment, in every conversation we have in life, am I the teacher or am I the student? And be willing to shut up if you're the student. Don't say, oh yeah, I got these 2 and I got these 15 ounces in this. When I'm in a room with some of these other people, I act like I got the tiniest shop and I'm just learning. Why? Because I want them to pour into me.
Right. Is that coming to your shop?
But you have to be willing to address that immediately and just have that answer mentally. Okay, I'm a student right now. I'm here to learn.
Which I love, like even with this landscaping thing, like I started like the Instagram for it, and I'm only following like anything landscaping and backyards and grass and weeds, and like there's so many cool things. There's so many people that I've messaged that get back to me. There's one guy, I feel like I don't remember what his Instagram title was, but he's got like 2 million followers, and I messaged him and just said, hey man, I'm looking at is there an app that can like that I can bill my clients to, that I can, I just asked him a bunch of questions about what I can do, and he goes, try this one. I found the coolest app that gives me my route for the day, that when as soon as I'm done with the people, I just click like invoice them, and it just got like, there's so much stuff where it's like I don't have anything like that for what I'm doing now. What I do now is like I'm on my computer and I'm doing
QuickBooks, sending the invoice.
So much, this app goes through QuickBooks, everything, where it's just like, oh, this just the simplicity of that, but like reaching out to people, and like you said, like I love this part of it because I get to be the student, and I get to just be that sitting there and the curiosities, and I have unlimited questions now. There's so many things, but I want to start very small in this.
Yeah.
And I just want to like crawl before I walk. Or I guess slither before I crawl. Like I want to like, I'm starting it right at the beginning. And I've done a bunch of this before in my past, and like any of the build stuff, the fences and the pergolas and all that stuff I can do, but I don't want to do. Stuff like that, I need multiple people. And I just want to coast right now. I want headphones on and just like mowing lawns. And
listen to my audiobook,
right?
On me, learning.
Right, just all that stuff, which is a crazier thing that I've found. The older I'm getting, I absolutely hated school. Just, it was going to prison, and I didn't want to be there, and I hated being locked there, and any chance I got to leave a door, if there was a door open, Wesley was gone. I would ditch school as much as I could. And now the older I get, everything in my day, every minute is so valuable. If I'm driving home, I have like an hour drive home, and I'm going to be listening to like podcasts. I'm going to be listening to like history. I'm going to listen to science, like health. Like there's so much where I'm just getting so just absorbing as much knowledge as I can towards anything, because I just don't want any wasted minutes anymore. Even something that I brought up, I don't know if in the other podcast, my wife and I, we stopped drinking. We didn't have like problems with it or anything. We weren't like, whatever. But we both just stopped. And it was just something where it's like, I did that enough when I was young. Like I graduated from that. It was like, it was fun. And now it wastes too much time. And now everything that I want to do in my life, I want something better from it. Whether like you're just saying, like an audiobook. I always have, like, if I'm working in someone's house like today, I have an audiobook going, or I've got like a podcast on like health or like history, or like there's so much. I just want all the knowledge I can. And maybe it's just because I didn't do anything in school, but now I just want just feed my brain. Like I want it all.
Look at the transition. Your mental mindset is like, okay, I want to learn, right? How many times do we see our youngsters out there? They got an ear pod in their ear, and I'm watching them. I'm like, I know he's not listening to a podcast. I know he's not listening to an audiobook. I know he doesn't want the differences that are out there. He's literally just sitting on music,
right?
That isn't helping at all. It may relax him while he's doing a job or something like that, but you can grow at any given time. I like long road trips. Why? I got a 6-hour drive at the end of the month to go to Laguna Seca to ride my motorcycle. It's my getaway for those 2 days for me.
Right.
To go ride my bike. I sleep in the Sprinter, and I come back after I'm done. But I already planned out the 3 books I want to listen on the way up.
Nice.
Tactically, for what it is that I need to learn at that moment in time. So it's not just to go up and ride my motorcycle. It's not just to get away from the family for those 2 days. It's actually to almost go to school for myself, because you're on a long road. Like you said, you got an hour ride back, and you want that info. If we can just rewire ourselves to be in a learning mindset and in a mindset that there's so much more I want to learn, and pick a topic. Like, you got a great topic because you're learning a ton about it really, really fast.
Yeah.
But to be able to say, I'm not going to waste the 30 minutes on the ride home. I'm going to set this book needs to be done by the next 3 weeks, whether it's an audiobook. I mean, I can't read anything, remember it. Now there's these groups now that I do that I listen to the audiobook and then I pay for a book club. So once a week, tomorrow I've got it. It's every Wednesday. It's for an hour. And you'll generally have an order that'll go over the book and just go over the 2 chapters and just pick everybody's brains. And they're just business owners that just dive into a book and we just pick a book.
Nice.
And it's just awesome. And I really grabbed the book. I grabbed the terms. I was talking about this let them. We're doing the let them theory right now on Mel Robbins' book, and it's spectacular. I've already gone through the audiobook completely, but now I'm going over it again and listening to the book club, and we just have our mastermind for an hour. But wow, there's the things you miss. How many people listen to the damn book, and I think I got what it was trying to say.
Right.
But when you get
have somebody else who just goes like, no, I saw it as this, then you go, oh my God. Like,
and now all of a sudden all the maps related to these 3 items that you're 100%
right.
lifetime.
Or you understand the next chapter even better.
Yeah.
And, it's something like, I think like now is where I can get more involved in something like that. And, I've got a couple friends that we kind of banter about the same. I've got friends for like every group. There's friends that I'm in a joke with. They're friends that I've got crazy business ideas. I need to talk to you about this. Art projects. Like, I've got my groups of everybody that I can be involved with, and I think it's important, especially in my circle, because there's sometimes when somebody rides motorcycle all the time. If somebody is in my group that I just joke with, there's sometimes where I can fire off an idea and maybe I just want that positive remark. Yeah, man, you should do that. This and this was great. Because there's sometimes I just want that. I just want that win, But then there's sometimes too when I ask somebody who has nothing to do with anything I'm even talking about and they have a brilliant idea because if they don't see it.
You're not connected to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like not going back on me, but like with the landscaping thing, I might be able to see something that somebody that comes in every single day just overlooked. I've had people come into my shop before that have shown me different ways to like do, say like a cabinet or a table or something like that, where I just never thought of it that way. Most of the time, if I'm doing something, I'm either working, like even if I have employees, I'm working alone. Like I'm building this thing, they're building this thing. So you're not collaborating a lot of times, but then there's some times where, if an outsider looking in can give you tremendous advice for that thing that, maybe just pushed you through and made it better.
Like your app, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times people, you think, oh, I'm going to do the same way I'm doing the carpentry business, and you're like, oh, no. And then you kind of drudge it, and you're like, wait a minute, somebody's already thought this through.
There's got to be an easier way.
There has to always be an easier way.
And it's how you're saying, like to look at the time. Is it 30 minutes or is it 3 hours? And both can be done. It's just like, how are you going to do it?
Yeah. Speaking of time, let me just check. What are we looking at?
I think we're good, man. Is there anything you want to say before we wrap up?
I would say, at the end of the day, you can have anything in life you want. Again, I think you and I touched on it earlier. You can't get the first no and stop. And it's a bummer. It's a true bummer at the end of the day because you've got. I don't know. I just firmly believe that just as much as somebody's pouring into me, I've got to also pour into other people. It's got to go both ways.
Right.
And what you put out does come back to you. Karma is a real thing. And you just got to put it out there. And I think it's neat because just like you said, with your circle of friends, every time you need help, there's always somebody willing to do it. But at the same time, I know even if I just met you off the street and I ask you, hey, what do you think about this? You might give me a hand. You would give the time up. And it's got to be a two-way street. It can't just be collect me. Can't just always be, oh, I've got to make all the money. I got to make all the money. I saw, there's just those moments in time when you see the brilliance, you see somebody going out of their way, you see a mentor pouring into you, or somebody you just met gave you an idea. I want to send you something, whether it be, a keychain that you made at West in November and you made a difference in our lives, or something that you send to the mentor afterwards that they remember, and then you tell them 6 months later, I took your advice and look at where I'm at, and now I got my house, and now I've got this, and now I'm starting my new business. Like, it's also for the person that gave that. I mean, we need
Right.
to motivate people to continue to pour into other people to grow. I mean, humanity just has to be that way. I'm sorry, everybody's going 100 miles an hour. They can't think they can help anybody. They're so busy. They're caught up in the wrong things. If you're not helping other human beings grow and change their lives, then what the hell is this all worth? You can't take any of the money with you. I mean, again, we're laughing, and then at the same time, a little scared because 140,000 for a 2-week salary, payroll. But there's a lot of good there.
Right.
Don't look at it as a bad thing that you got to go cut expenses because I got to make more money. I'm not making enough. You control all of that. I've had coaches come look at our business model and go like, wow, you run a very fat ship, a very expense heavy, right? You got to lose 2 employees. And then they're not ready for me to turn around and say, you know what? Stop. I'm not going to go fire the person. If they're giving me 150% of their God-given ability every single day, I will never pull out the rung for somebody. I will find a way. And I literally sat in front of the coaches and said, guys, I appreciate your input, but I'd still go into debt for somebody killing themselves on our front line 100% of the time. So let me ask you a favor. What do I got to do better? I, as the business owner, you as your business owner, what can I do better so I don't have to fire those 2 people? What skill am I not doing? What am I not to teach me how to sell better so I can get 14 more clients so I don't have to tell 2 families they don't have a job tomorrow if that human being is given everything they've got. So many times, it's a true fact. Fix the owner and you fix your shop. You fix your business. It all starts with us. I got to walk in and look in that mirror first and say, what could I have done differently to get a different result? And if you can answer that question 100% of the time, and it's I gave the employee, the team, the training, the expectations, the what a good job looks like and what a bad job looks like, and they still didn't do it, then that was their decision. But if you didn't give them that, the training, exactly what I need to see, how I want the lawn cut, how I want the customer served, how I want the delivery and the finished product to be delivered, then that falls on you and I. And as a good, smart business owner, you take responsibility for every good thing and bad thing that happens in your business, then you can grow. But if not, and you're an excuse maker, I'm sorry. It's a very long uphill battle to win in this industry or any industry. But again, like I said, I always try to make sure literally that I'm looking at a mirror and I am 100% responsible for the good and the bad.
Right.
And what I'm getting today is from what I did yesterday, from the preparation, like you said, to get ready for this business, to learn about this business, to be the subject matter expert in the room, to know what the hell I'm talking about before I go even try to get your business. You got to get ready for all of that. And then you earn that right to turn around and go execute. But too many people want the shortcut. They don't want to go learn. They don't want to look in the mirror. They want to point the finger at all their employees. And I can't get this and I can't get that. I'm sorry. I look at shops that I coach and I'm like, it's you.
Right.
It's not your people. It's you, because that is the example they have on a daily basis to go out there and go kill it. If you can't turn and look at your people in the face and tell them, I went the wrong way on this marketing plan. I went the wrong way on that decision. We're going to go a different direction and be vulnerable to them as well. Then what the hell are they fighting for? You don't want to go work for an excuse maker. That's one of the reasons you got out of it. It's one of the reasons I got out of it.
Right.
I was tired of that. I'm like, I do not want to have people in my control under management in any facet where I don't have direct control to be able to protect them and support their lives. And that's, you asked earlier, why'd you get away? It was exactly that. Rug got pulled out from under me and the 75 people that I was managing at the time. And I'm like, I'm done. I'm opening my company. That's it. I will never be put in a position where I don't have an answer to help people.
Right.
I literally got 3 of the most awesomest families that were working for me at the time, 2 that literally moved out here to work for me. And I just started a company. I'm like, I don't care. I'm selling my house. We're going to start this. I don't know how long this will last. Even my dad at that time came back into my life. It's like, hey, I'm not working anymore. I'm like, you can come too. We'll figure this out. And I don't know what this is going to look like. And life just worked out because we just saw the vision where we go. And I don't know. I mean, I helped build daycare in one of my first warehouses for the 2 families that had kids, and they had nowhere to. They didn't have the money, and I barely had enough to just get it going. And I had to come up with an idea quick and figure this out. And I mean, necessity is the best catalyst to change. Needing to figure something out and driving it there. I mean, I can take all the skill set away from you. Everything you've gotten in 2 weeks, you'll be right back where you're at again. I already figured it out. So life's a blessing, and as soon as you start to count them and be just wake up every morning with gratitude that all these things were given to me to do something with, not so I can use the spoils. So, oh man, I appreciate you taking the time to
Thank you
have
for
this
your
chat
time,
with
man.
me, man.
I love the hell out of you, man. I'm so stoked that I've got you in my life. We'll tell everybody to bring their cars here because there's no other shops in the world that your car should go to. I thank you so much for your time, man.
No, I appreciate it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, you want to help?
We got to do this again. Yeah, I'll wrap it up.
It's
It's so funny. You and I could probably talk for hours. which we did.